A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Dragnet. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko fugitive detail. A secretary tells you her employer has suddenly left town. She says he's taken all the company records with him. Your job? Check it out.
It was Monday, May 18th. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko fugitive detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from lunch, and it was 1:46 p.m. when we got to room 38. Bunko fugitive.
Sergeant Friday?
That's right.
They told me to see you.
Yes, ma'am. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
How do you do?
Good afternoon.
My name's Gibbons. Claire Gibbons.
Would you like to sit down there?
Thank you.
All right.
Well?
Yes, ma'am?
It isn't anything when you put your finger on it. At least, it isn't anything I'm sure of.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even my idea. Coming to the police. Mama said my mother advised me to discuss this matter with you.
I see.
She's always claimed there was something funny about my job. She said this just goes to prove it. I'm sure she's mistaken. Sure, Mr. Orlean wouldn't do anything wrong.
Mr. Orlean?
Oh, he's my boss, my employer, Henry Orlean.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, he's disappeared.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
And when did you see him last?
Friday. Friday evening when I left the office, 5 p.m.
Have you checked with his home?
I don't know where he lives. He never told me.
I see.
He's never gone out of town before. Not since I started working for him.
Well, how long has that been?
7 months. 7 months on the 3rd.
What kind of business is he in?
Uranium. Uranium stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple Uranium Investments Incorporated. That's the name of his company.
I see.
Well, don't the other employees have any idea where he went?
There aren't any other employees. I'm the only one.
Oh, I see.
Have you talked to missing persons?
No, I haven't. You see, Mama doesn't think he's missing. She says he skipped out, that he's a crook.
Does your mother know this, Mr. Orlean?
Only what I've told her about him. They've never met. She's been suspicious from the very beginning, though.
Afraid I don't follow you.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain.
How's that?
You see, the thing is, Mama just can't understand why he ever hired me. The employment office sent me to see him, along with 7 or 8 other secretaries. Mr. Orlean picked me out from all the rest.
Was there something strange in that?
Well, the truth is, I'm not much of a stenographer. Not a real good one, that is. I get kind of nervous whenever I have to take dictation. My typing's just fair, too. I could do real clean copy if they'd just let me take my time, but they never do.
Is that right?
Except for Mr. Orlean. He doesn't rush me or get me all upset. It's the first time I've ever been able to hang on to a job. Pays awful good. $20 a week, more than I ever earned before.
That's so.
Mom couldn't believe it when I told her. She said there was a catch to it someplace.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be different if if I wasn't playing. 2 or 3 of the other girls who tried out for Mr. Orlean, they were very attractive, and they all had nice clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Mama sure was surprised when I told her he'd picked me. There's a catch to it somewhere, that's how she put it. He's up to something, and he wants a secretary who's not too bright.
Well, I'm afraid we're going to need more than that to start an investigation, Miss Gibbons.
Yes, sir. I see. Well, thank you very much.
Just a minute. Does he owe you any back wages?
Oh, no. I'm paid up a month in advance.
Mm-hmm.
That was another thing that seemed funny. I mean, when you think about it now, it seems funny.
Well, what do you mean?
My being with him less than a year and him wanting me to take a vacation with pay, a whole month off.
How'd that come about?
Well, it was just last week, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
A week ago today when he brought up the subject. He said it was getting on toward summer and I ought to start thinking about where I wanted to go on my vacation.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't feel entitled to a vacation yet. He just smiled and said it was up to him to decide that. That he's the boss, wasn't he? And he insisted I tell him just where I wanted to go. I couldn't think of any place at all, and he finally asked me why I didn't visit my sister in Hawaii.
I see.
She's married to a Navy officer stationed in Honolulu. I guess I must have mentioned her to Mr. Orland. I guess that's how I knew about her.
Yes, ma'am, must be.
But the idea of ever paying her a visit hadn't even crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to argue with him, but he pretended to get mad and told me if I was a good enough secretary to deserve a holiday, he's going to see that I got it. And then he said he'd make up for it when I got back, that he'd really pour the work on.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he wasn't serious about pouring the work on, but it did seem like he really wanted me to go to Hawaii.
Well, why didn't you take him up on it?
Well, I meant to. I had my ticket. Round-trip flight. Mr. Orland paid for it, just like he said he would.
Yeah.
I was supposed to leave Saturday night. I sent Ann an airmail letter telling her all about the trip. That's my sister, Ann Burcott.
Yeah.
Well, Saturday morning, she wired me not to come. Her husband's being transferred in a week or two. Well, she wasn't sure where. Maybe back to the States.
I see.
Oh, I suppose I could have made the trip anyway, but it wouldn't be any fun going someplace where I didn't know anybody. I don't make friends very easy.
Is that so?
Well, I didn't know just what to do, whether Mr. Orland would still want me to take the month off or not. I went down to the office this morning to talk to him about it. He wasn't there. Everything was gone.
Yeah?
From the safe, all the records and stock certificates, everything. The corporation papers he had framed up on the wall, they were gone, too.
Had somebody broken in?
I don't think so. The door to the suite was locked when I got there. I had my key.
And what about the safe?
I don't understand.
Well, was the safe open or closed?
Closed.
Well, how'd you happen to look inside?
I telephoned my mother and told her that Mr. Orland wasn't there, and she said I'd better check and see if anything was missing. Said it sounded to her like he'd skipped out.
Mm-hmm.
After I looked in the safe, she told me to get in touch with the police.
Well, now, just exactly what sort of business was this uranium company?
Mr. Orland invested in various uranium stocks.
For other people?
Yes, that's right.
Which bank did he use?
Western National. The account's in the main branch.
I'll give him a call, Jim.
Yeah, okay.
Well, there just wouldn't be any reason for him to run away, would there?
Well, it's pretty hard to tell yet.
I mean, he was doing a real good business.
Well, that might be a reason.
Oh?
Do you know the names of his customers?
Well, the people who invested in Mr. Orland?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I could remember some of them. The books are gone, though. I wouldn't be able to recall them all.
I see.
The old customers, the ones who've been with us for several months, I'd remember them.
Uh-huh. Was the business new when you started to work with it?
Yes, sir, brand new.
Find out anything?
Yeah. Orlean closed out the multiple uranium bank account last Friday evening, a little before 6.
6?
Yeah. Banks stay open late on Fridays,
Oh,
Joe.
yeah, I forgot. How much did he withdraw?
Just under 100,000.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess Mama was right about him.
It's starting to look that way.
I should have known. From the beginning, I should have known.
What?
She's always right.
While Frank put in a call to Sacramento to check on the corporate status of multiple uranium investments, I asked Clara Gibbons to give me a detailed description of the suspect. 2:28 p.m., Sacramento reported that no such corporation had ever been authorized. We ran the name Henry Orlean through R&I. They had nothing on him. We turned the description and MO over to the stats office. They came up with 7 possible stock fraud artists. We pulled their mug shots and showed them to Miss Gibbons. She was unable to identify any of the pictures. 3:07 p.m., Miss Gibbons accompanied us to the Wendler building on Wilshire Boulevard in the Miracle Mile. We went up to Suite 4D.
Just a second till I find my key.
Yes, ma'am.
Here it is. This is the outer office where I work.
Mm-hmm.
That's his office in there?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's real fancy.
Have you talked to the building manager today?
No, sir.
Is he around, do you know?
Well, there isn't any manager. Not exactly. The owner has an office down the hall.
Oh.
I'll be glad to find out if he's in.
Thank you.
You'll be here?
Yes, ma'am. Very impressive quarters, huh?
Must have been a very impressive guy.
Yeah. Look at that, Joe. I wonder what he had up there.
Hmm?
Up on the wall. See that spot? Looks like there used to be a picture or something.
Well, those incorporation papers, maybe, huh?
Phonies?
I don't know. As far as the state of California is concerned, they're phonies.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mr. Wendler. Mr. Wendler is Sergeant Friday.
How are you?
I do.
This is... I'm awfully sorry. I don't seem to remember your name.
It's all right. My name's Frank Smith. Well, pleased to meet you.
This is our identification, you must say.
Forget it.
Uh-huh.
Well?
You're the owner of this building, are you?
Well, it's the Wendler building. I'm Ted Wendler.
Yes, sir.
Draw your own conclusions.
Yeah. Do you have any objection to answering a few questions, Wendler?
No?
All right, will you answer them for us, please?
I thought I was.
Yes, sir. I asked you one before. Do you own this building?
Outright.
That isn't important.
Well, it's important to me. It's important to the mortgage company.
Is it in your name?
Yes, it's in my name.
All right, fine.
And what about the man who rented this suite?
Orlean?
Yes, sir.
Well, what about him?
Do you know he left town?
Well, she just told me.
Did you know about it before?
No.
What can you tell us about him?
He's a broker or something. Uranium stocks, I guess.
Yeah, we got that much.
That's all you know about him, huh?
Yeah?
How long has he rented from you?
Let's see, a little over 7 months. Be 8 on the 3rd.
Did he mention anything about where he had offices before?
No, he said he was from back east.
Any particular place?
No. Why, what's he done?
We'd like to talk to him, that's all.
Well, maybe he'll come back.
Uh-huh.
Well, if he doesn't, it's all the same to me.
What?
I made him pay his rent in advance whole first year.
Is that your usual practice?
No, only with fellas in the stock market. You see, I remember 1929.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen, not with fellas in the market.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I remember 29.
Yeah.
If Orlean stays away, I'm way ahead of him. Rent's paid up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nearly 5 months ahead of him.
Yes, sir. I wish we were. Ted Wendler confirmed Miss Gibbons' description of the suspect and insisted he could tell us nothing further about the man. While a crew from the crime lab went over the offices, we again questioned Clara Gibbons. She gave us the names and addresses of some of the people who had invested money with Orlean. 4:48 p.m., the crime lab reported that they'd been unable to discover any useful fingerprints in the suite. The only physical evidence they had uncovered was a copy of a prospectus which purported to list various securities owned by multiple uranium investments. It had fallen behind a filing cabinet. The next day, May 19th, Frank and I checked with several of the uranium companies listed on the prospectus. They all informed us that none of their stock had ever been purchased by Multiple Uranium Incorporated or Henry Orlean. 3:13 p.m., Frank and I drove out to interview one of the victims.
Would you like to sit down?
Thank you. Miss Custis, do you know a man named Henry Orlean?
Yes. Yes, I know him. Why?
Did you ever invest any money with him?
$5,000. Nothing's happened to Mr. Orlean.
We're not sure yet.
How'd you happen to give him the money?
Well, it was some insurance my husband left me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd kept it in savings. Didn't bring in much interest. When I heard about Mr. Orlean's company...
Where'd you hear about it? You remember?
At the hospital.
Ma'am?
St. Agnes Children's Hospital.
Oh?
I spend a day a week there helping out in the charity ward.
I see.
I'm on some of the committees, too. You know, fundraising, things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm not one of the big people behind the work, but somebody has to get out and dig for the little donations, too.
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And I have quite a bit of free time now.
Do you remember who it was that first mentioned Mr. Orlean to you?
I think it was Mrs. Lorrington.
Warrington?
Yes, Mrs. Arthur Lorrington. You must have heard of her. She does so much charity work around town. She's very prominent socially.
Yes, ma'am. Just what did she say about Mr. Orlean's company?
Well, she wasn't talking to me exactly. One afternoon, when she was showing some people the plans for the new clinic,
Mm-hmm.
I guess she was asking them for some contributions. That's how it sounded. And one of the ladies said it all depended on how well her husband's stocks did during the next quarter.
Oh, I see.
And Mrs. Lorrington laughed and told her her husband ought to be in multiple uranium, but he wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Go on.
Well, that was all I heard. They went on to the next room. Afterwards, I got to thinking, if this uranium stock was good enough for Mrs. Lorrington, maybe I ought to check into it. You know, you're always hearing about people making fortunes in uranium.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I looked up the company in the phone book and talked to Mr. Orlean. First, he wasn't very anxious for me to invest, but when I told him I knew Mrs. Lorrington, he said he'd take me in as a favor to her.
When was all this?
Oh, about 4 months ago.
Have you seen Mr. Orlean since?
No,
You heard from him?
not directly. I get a dividend check every month, though. Stock's paying very well. I figured it out. On a yearly basis, it'll come to over 30%. You can't do much better than that.
No, ma'am.
I told some of my friends about it, too, so they could get in on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, ma'am.
You still haven't explained what this is all about.
Well, we're trying to get in touch with Mr. Orlean, that's all.
Oh, the Wendler building on Wilshire Boulevard. That's where his office is, the Wendler building.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't he there?
No, he isn't.
I don't understand.
Orlean seems to have disappeared.
What about my money?
I'm afraid that went with him.
Why, that isn't possible. He couldn't have. Mrs. Lawrington said it was a good stock.
Yes, ma'am. We'll talk to her about it.
Well, he paid me dividends every month. Good dividends.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't count on any more of them.
What? Why, I'll bring charges against him. I'll have him put in jail. He'll find out. But that's all you need, isn't it? Somebody to bring charges?
No, ma'am, not quite.
Well, what do you mean?
We need him. Frank and I left Mrs. Custis and drove out to interview another victim, Mrs. J.T. Pressing on Highland Avenue. She told us that she had invested $8,000 in multiple uranium. She also told us that she had first heard about the stock through a friend who was on the fundraising committee for St. Agnes Hospital. We interviewed 3 more victims. All of them were in some way associated with the hospital or were acquainted with Mrs. Arthur Lawrington. 8:45 p.m., we drove up to the Lawrington estate in Bel Air. A maid showed us into the library and said that Mrs. Lawrington would see us in a few minutes.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
That's her.
Hmm?
Up there on the wall, that painting. That's Mrs. Lawrington.
Yeah.
Saw it in the Sunday paper once. Society page.
Mm-hmm.
Real honest to gosh artist, did it?
You don't say.
Mm-hmm. Probably flatters her a lot.
Maybe.
Well, it's bound to.
What makes you think so?
Well, it stands to reason, Joe. If all a person wants is a good likeness, a photographer ought to do the trick.
Yeah.
Artists know that, too.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Figures they want something else. Want to look better, so he flatters them.
Oh, I see.
That's the way it works.
Are you gentlemen waiting for me?
Mrs. Lawrington?
That's right.
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Well, I'm sure it's my husband you want to talk to. Unfortunately, he's in San Francisco on a business
No,
trip.
ma'am. We'd like to talk to you if you don't mind. You know a man named Henry Orlean?
Orlean?
That's it, yeah.
The name sounds familiar, but I meet so many people, it's hard to be certain.
Have you ever heard of a stock called Multiple Uranium Incorporated?
Oh, yes, of course. Well, I didn't associate the two for a moment. That's Mr. Orlean's company, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any money invested in that stock?
No, not me personally, but I can vouch for the company if that's what you want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I'm on the fundraising committee for St. Agnes Hospital. Matter of fact, I'm the chairman.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
And we do own some of Mr. Orlean's stock. The hospital, that is.
But tell us, how'd you happen to buy it?
Oh, we didn't. It was a donation.
Would you mind telling us from who?
Oh, no, not it. Mr. Orlean himself.
I see. When did he give it to you?
Last year, September. Yes, it was September. It's a charity bazaar. I don't recall the exact date, but I can find out for you.
Well, September's close enough. Just what was this bazaar?
A party here at my home. We opened the grounds to the general public. A garden party and auction combined.
An auction.
Mm-hmm. Some of the most picture people donated the items we sold, and all the money went to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We raised over $25,000, not counting what Mr. Orlean gave us.
Mm-hmm. That's the stock donation.
That's right. He congratulated me on the bazaar. He seemed to be very interested in charity work. I said we would certainly use his help, and he offered to do whatever he could.
Go ahead, please.
He said that unfortunately he couldn't give us cash at the moment. He mumbled something about a tax problem. I'm not really too clear about those things. Everyone seems to be having tax problems nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of an outright gift, he offered us a block of stock in his company.
I see. Now, just how much stock was involved?
500 shares, I think. Yes, something like that. At any rate, he said the market value of what he was giving us would be in the neighborhood of $10,000.
Did he tell you anything else about it?
He didn't go into the details of his corporation, and I certainly didn't question him. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
All I recall, he said his company owned shares in other uranium companies so that the money was well diversified.
Now, was that all?
Yes, I believe so. Except that he made one request.
What was it?
He asked me not to sell the stock for at least a year.
Did he give you a reason?
Oh, yes. He said that within a year's time it would double in market value. And in the meantime, the hospital would be receiving excellent dividends.
I see.
As a matter of fact, the dividends have been remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
Something like $500 a month, I believe our treasurer told me. Mr. Orlean must be a very shrewd investor.
Did you ever discuss this uranium stock with any of your friends, Mrs. Lawrington?
Why, yes, once or twice. One of our committee meetings, when we were going over the books, we were surprised at the return it was paying us. We all talked about it then. I suppose I may have mentioned it since.
Mm-hmm.
Just in conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Mr. Orlean upset that I told other people about his company? I didn't know he wanted it kept secret.
No, he wanted you to tell him.
Well, then.
Several people that you discussed multiple uranium with invested in the company as a result.
It's a perfectly sound investment.
No, ma'am.
What?
Orlean has disappeared, and so has their money.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
The stock he sold him was phony. So was the stock he gave your hospital fund.
But it couldn't be. Look at the dividends it paid.
That was just good advertising.
You mean he used the hospital? He used me?
I'm afraid so.
I just don't know what to say. I've never been involved in a situation like this before.
Yes, ma'am.
It's terribly distressing. I know it's not my fault, but I can't help thinking I should have been more careful, more discreet. Well, I'm sorry. I'm afraid you'll have to excuse me. I don't feel like talking anymore. I'm very upset.
We understand.
Anita will show you out.
We'll find a way. Let's go.
Oh. I was just looking at that painting up there again. No, I was right, Joe. Flatters her.
The interview with Mrs. Lorington had enabled us to establish the suspect's M.O. Additional bulletins were sent out alerting all police departments, charity organizations, and fundraising committees. During the rest of the week, we interviewed other victims of the stock swindle. None of them could furnish any additional information about the whereabouts of the man who called himself Henry Orlean. 3 weeks later, on June 9th, we received a report from the Chicago Police Department. They informed us that a man answering Orlean's description had worked an oil stock swindle in that city during the previous year. He had then used the name of Roger Norgett. They also told us that this Norgett was suspected of an earlier stock swindle in Kansas City. Neither the Chicago nor Kansas City police had a positive identification of the suspect, but in both cities, the M.O. had been the same. The suspect had donated a block of phony stock to a charitable organization, had paid very high dividends on the donated shares, and then had been able to acquire investments from private persons. Wednesday, June 11th, 3:17 p.m. Frank and I were in the office.
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
You remember me? Clara Gibbons. I used to work for
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Orlean.
How are you? What can we do for you?
Mama just found him. Mama just found him. Mr. Orlean.
Where?
Over on Hill Street. She was just walking along and she saw him.
Is she sure it's him?
Positive. Please hurry.
Just a minute, Miss Gibbons.
Yeah, what is it?
Didn't you tell us your mother had never seen this man?
Well, she's seen him now. He was walking down Hill
Well, how does
Street.
she know it's him if she never saw him before?
I told her what he looked like dozens of times, all about him.
I see.
For heaven's sake, you don't have to see a person to know what he looks like. Mama would recognize Mr. Orlean anywhere. She's said so half a dozen times. She can describe him better than I can.
Oh.
My mother's very intelligent, Sergeant. She's not like me. Now, please don't stand here and argue about it or he'll get away.
Well, just where is he?
The Norridge Hotel, corner of Hill and Haldane.
I thought your mother saw him on the street.
Well, she followed him into the hotel. She didn't want to lose him. He went upstairs and she telephoned me from the lobby. She said she'd wait there to make sure he didn't leave.
Oh, I see.
She told me to bring you as soon as I could. It's nearly half an hour since she called me. We haven't got much
All right,
time.
Miss Gibbons. All right, we'll check on it right away.
You're going to arrest him, aren't you?
If it's the right man.
Well, of course it's the right man.
Excuse me a minute.
Do you have to answer it now?
Uncle Fugitive Friday. Yes, right. I see. Fine. Okay. We'll forward our warrant to you. Will you send us a notification by telegram? Thank you. We sure are. Many thanks. Salt Lake City Police Department.
Yeah?
Picked up Orlean this morning. Tabbed him from our circular.
They sure it's him?
Gave him a full confession. Admitted the KC and Chicago deals, too.
But it couldn't be Mr. Orlean. He's at the Norridge Hotel.
Well, Miss Gibbons, I'm afraid your mother was mistaken.
I've never known Mama to make a mistake.
Well, we all make them.
But what she's waiting for is at the hotel. What'll I tell her?
Well, let's see. I guess there's only one thing.
What's that?
Tell her not to wait.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 16th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Francis Caxton Wheatley, alias Henry Orlean, alias Roger Norgett, was tried and convicted of grand theft, 7 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for no more than 1 year, or in the state prison for not less than 1 or more than 10 years. Holds were placed on the suspect by the states of Illinois and Missouri at the termination of his sentence in San Quentin.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. After weeks of investigation, a suspect in a burglary is picked up. You've got the evidence for a conviction, but over $200,000 in loot is still missing. Your job? Find it.
It was Saturday, March 5th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We're on our way back from the cell block, and it was 9:45 a.m. when we got to the interview room. Felony section.
I'll get the light.
Come on in, Bowen. Sit down.
Over there.
You want to smoke? Here's the light. You want to talk to us this morning? You're not doing yourself any good this way, Bowen.
We checked your apartment, Bowen, found a set of tools our crime lab says are the ones used in the Hendricks job.
We can put you in the front room of the house. You're dead, Bowen. Why don't you admit it? This is the first time you've been nailed for anything big. You go along with us, and the judge might take it into consideration. If we have to write it up this way, he's liable to throw the book in your face.
Who was with you on the job, Bowen?
We know you didn't swing it alone. Somebody had to carry the light.
Come on, who was it?
All right, what about the loot? Where's that?
That stuff's not going to do you any good in the joint.
There's over $200,000 in furs and jewelry missing. We know you had it. Now, where is it?
How about it, Bowen? You're just causing yourself a lot of grief.
Okay, let's go. On your feet. Come on.
Too bad, cop.
Is that so?
Sure. There's nothing you can do to make me tell where the stuff is. Not a thing.
Sure.
You're never going to find out where it is. Never.
Well, it really doesn't make a lot of difference. You're never going to use it. 3 weeks previously, on February 10th, two unidentified persons had entered a home in the Bel Air district. They'd taken furs and jewelry valued at over $200,000. The investigation conducted by burglary detail had netted one of the suspects. He was identified as Cade Bowen, WMA, 32 years. His arrest record had listed several charges of drunk driving and disturbing the peace. However, he'd never been picked up on a felony before. In spite of our efforts, we'd been unable to break him down. He refused to identify the other suspect or to tell us where we could recover the stolen goods. All of his friends and relatives were questioned. None of them could aid us. The case on him was prepared for the district attorney's office, and we continued to look for the other suspect. Monday, March 7th, 8:02 a.m., I checked into the squad room.
That you, Joe?
Yeah.
Now, you're late.
A couple of minutes here. I got it. Burglary Friday. Oh, yeah, Emery. Mm-hmm. Sure. No, not a sign of it. Well, we'd like to hear it anyway. Where can we meet you? Where? Yeah, all right. We'll be right over. About 5 minutes. Right. Goodbye. It was Emery.
Who?
Emery Docks. Says he wants to see us.
What about?
Some stolen fur coats. Frank and I left the office and drove over to see the informant. We found him in Pershing Square watching a checker game.
Just a minute, Joe. Be with you.
All right.
No, not that one. Always does it. Okay, let's go. Always the same with that guy.
Is that right?
Yeah, always the same. Set him up that way and he'll jump. As soon as he does, game's over. He can't see it, but it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Real pigeon for the setup. Sit over there and talk.
You know my partner, don't you, Emery?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Guess you can't win them all. We can sit there.
What do you want to see us about?
Oh, fell over something day before yesterday. Thought maybe it'd make sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
Met a guy who had some coats for sale. Price he was quoting had to be hot.
Where'd you meet him?
Bar over on First.
See a friend?
Not to make a touch. I see him in the bar once in a while, but he don't ever buy a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Other night he got real palsy-walsy. I don't know, maybe he was gassed or something. But he sure was friendly.
You met him in the bar?
Yeah, he stopped in to have a belt before I ate. This guy was there, sitting on the stool next to me. Got to talking. He almost knocked me over when he bought a drink. Right on the floor, he knocked me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing led to something else. He asked what I was doing. I said, oh, just about anything to turn a buck. He asked me if I had any money I wasn't using. I said I didn't.
Yeah.
He said it was too bad. He said if I could raise a couple of long bills, he could turn me on to something good.
The coats? Huh?
Yeah. Told me how a friend of his came up with these fur coats, wanted to dump them, said the price was real good.
What kind of coats were they?
Mink, full length. Had a couple of those scarf things, too. He said they were Stone Martin or something, where the skins look like they're biting each other.
Yeah.
Like those, Stone Martin, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Guy made a big thing about how the price was right, and if I had any loot, I could come out with a big thing.
Did he say where his friend got him?
No. Matter of fact, I don't think there was a friend. Coats were in his car. I know if I had that kind of merchandise, I wouldn't put it in nobody else's pocket, that's for sure.
What's this fellow's name, do you know?
Jarvis Dean.
That's D-E-A-N?
I guess so.
What do you know about him?
Well, not much. I told you I see him around. He's an angle fella, always looking for a touch.
You hold any kind of a job?
Not so it would stand out.
How's he live?
Oh, off other people mostly. Once in a while he makes a big score and he's popping for drinks all over the place. A couple of days he's blown the wad and he's back on the dole.
You know where you can find him?
I can't give you no address.
Usually around the bar?
Mostly. You won't find him there for a couple of days now, though. You said something about going out of town, down to Palm Springs. Something about how he could make a contact down there and unload the coats.
This Jarvis Dean ever been arrested?
Well, I don't know. We didn't spend a lot of time talking about jails. Figures, though.
What do you mean?
The way he talks, some of the people I've seen him with, 6 to an even, they can draw your floor plan of the laundry up at you.
Mm-hmm. You can give us the name of the people?
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not. They ain't done nothing to me, and I'd like to keep it that way. Some of them are pretty mean.
Yeah.
You understand, it isn't that I'm afraid, but I don't see no reason to stir nothing up.
Mm-hmm.
Does Dean say where this contact was at Palm Springs?
Oh, he mentioned some bar called Spanky's, that's all.
In the town itself?
Yeah, I guess so. When I couldn't spring the money to go with him, he kind of cooled off. He stopped being real friendly.
Mm-hmm.
I got to thinking about it and figured maybe it'd mean something to you, so... Well, the guy goes around with a couple of grand furs in his car. He didn't win him in a raffle. Got to be something there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you any good?
I will check it.
When I first heard about it, I thought it'd do some good right away. I thought of you guys right away.
Yeah.
I always like to try and help when I can.
Mm-hmm.
Now it works out both ways. Maybe you can give me a hand sometime. You know, like now?
What?
I could sure use a couple of bucks. Things ain't been going too good.
No, that's too bad.
It's just temporary. It won't last. A couple of days, I got a job coming up. Hotel over on Wilshire. Pearl diving. Guy's been drafted, and I'm in line for the job in just a couple of days.
Well, I've only got a couple of bucks, Emery. You can have them if it'll help.
Sure, Johnny. Anything at all.
There you are.
Thank you. Hey, you got a pencil?
For what?
Pencil. Got one I can use?
Yeah, here.
I always like to keep these things legal. You never know.
Yeah.
There you are. My IOU. Pay you back as soon as I start to work.
Well, don't worry about it, Emery.
No. You gotta do these things up legal.
Can you tell us what this guy Dean looks like?
Yeah, you think there's really something to it, huh?
Oh, we can check it.
Well, sure figures he stole the coats, and then he reasoned he'd want to give them away if he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like that, he don't do nothing for nothing. Gotta be a payoff somewheres.
Well, then he won't be disappointed.
Huh?
There'll be one. Frank and I got the description of Jarvis Dean and the car he was driving, then we returned to the office. We had the name run through R&I, and we found a record. The mugshot was pulled and shown to Emery Docks. He said it was the man who tried to sell him the coats. We put out a local broadcast and an APB on the suspect and his car. 11:25 a.m. Cade Bowen was questioned again, but he refused to give us any information on whether or not Dean was his accomplice in the burglary. At 2:30 that afternoon, Frank and I met with Captain Bernard in his office.
You think it's the Hendricks loot?
Should be. We've checked around. There haven't been any other thefts that are covered.
Got the list?
Yeah, here.
Thanks.
Now, you can see right there, Skipper. 2 mink coats, 1 Stone Martin scarf.
Mm-hmm. What about the jewelry?
Well, he didn't say anything about it. Doesn't mean it's not there.
Mm-hmm. What about this bar in Palm Springs you mentioned?
Spanky's?
Yeah. You know anything about it?
We know where it is.
What kind of place is it?
Resort Town Bar.
What about the reputation?
Clean. We never had any reports about it.
Uh-huh. You think that's where they'll turn the stuff?
Well, we don't know. All we got's the name.
Someplace to look. One we've had.
You can't get anything out of Bowen?
He won't even admit he's in Los Angeles.
What's he got to say about the evidence?
Just sits and looks at it.
And Palm Springs is the only lead you got?
That's it.
Okay, trot it down. Can you leave right away?
I can. How about you, Smith?
Just call Faye.
That's it, then. Go on down there, see what you can find out. Be sure to check with their department. They might have something for you.
All right.
When will you be back?
Well, if it works out, should be sometime in the morning.
Check with me as soon as you get in.
Yeah.
This fellow Dean got a record?
Yeah, assault 211.
Sounds like he might be heavy.
Possible.
Well, take it easy.
Yeah.
He's the fellow you're after. He's not going to want to give that stuff up.
Well, that puts it on our backs. We got to convince him. Frank and I went down to the carpool and checked out a trip car. 2 hours later, we pulled into Palm Springs. We talked with the local authorities. They had nothing on Jarvis Dean, and as far as they knew, there was nothing wrong with Spanky's bar. We got the address of the place and drove over. Yeah, what'll it be? Police officers. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, L.A. cops, huh? Something wrong?
I would like to ask you some questions.
Sure. Come on back here. It'll be easier to talk.
All right.
Well, what can I do for you?
I'd like you to take a look at these pictures. Tell us if you know this man.
No, I never saw him.
How about this one?
Sure. Yeah, he's been around.
Is he here now?
No, he doesn't usually make it this early.
You seen him at all today?
He was in this morning around 10 in there.
You know where we can find him?
What's he done?
Police business.
Well, just so it doesn't get anybody here in trouble. That guy's a real crackpot.
What do you mean?
He's lonely. He's good business, but if I had my druthers, I'd just assume he stayed away.
Why is that?
Well, the way he acts. We got a lot of big people coming here. You know, the picture crowd, a lot of money. They like things quiet. They come down here for a rest, and that's what they want. A guy like that fella, they don't help.
Is that right?
Sure, he gets gassed, makes a big noise all about how he's buying drinks for the house. The customers don't like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The drinks aren't bad enough, but he's got to start a pitch.
What do you mean?
I've been trying to set something up, some kind of a deal.
You know what it is?
No, I don't pay a lot of attention. I just hear him talking to some of the people. Gets any worse, though, I'm going to have to 86 him.
Does he come in alone?
Sometimes.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a chick he brings in once in a while. The two of them just sit there and drink.
You know her?
Why, she in trouble?
Do you know her?
Yeah, her name is Blanche. She lives down here.
She around?
She was.
When?
About half an hour ago. Said she was going out, get something to eat. She'd be back.
You know where she went?
No, half a dozen places inside a block she could have gone. If you want to talk to her, the best thing would be to wait right here.
All right.
She was carrying a real load when she walked out. I hope that food helps her.
She said she lives down here.
Yeah, she's got a place out the south end of town.
What's she do for a living, you know?
Well, I don't know. I don't think she's got a job. Seems I heard her say she was divorced. Probably got a chunk of dough from her old man.
She and this fellow pretty friendly?
You mean the guy in this picture?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. Most of the time they're together.
How often is he here?
Oh, he comes in the place almost every night, you know, when he's in town.
Is that quite a bit?
Yeah, 3-4 days a week.
You ever hear what he did for a living?
No, I don't think he works steady. Hey, there's your girl now.
All right. Pour me a drink, huh?
Yeah, Blanche, a couple of fellas here want to talk to you, huh?
Oh, that's all? Bring them on. I always like to talk to fellas. If they're friends of yours, old Bart, I know they're okay.
Yeah, sure, Blanche.
Are these them? Hey, now, they're pretty nice looking. You know that, fellas? You're pretty nice looking.
Wonder if we get to a booth, might be a little easier to talk to you.
Oh, the same to you. I'll talk right here. I won't say a thing. What's your name, honey?
Friday.
Say, that's a funny name. Like the day, huh?
That's right. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
I do.
Oh, come on now. Don't try to pitch that at me. Smith. A phony if I ever heard one. Hey, Bart.
Yeah, Blanche.
How's that drink? I stay all night, you know.
Do you think you had enough of that?
No. You just keep your big yap shut.
You better take it easy, Blanche.
Take it easy, nothing. Ain't no fellow with a name like Friday and Smith gonna tell me and not to have a drink. They're a couple of phonies. That's what they are.
All right,
Phonies.
just settle down now. We're police officers.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Well, I'm the Queen of Sheba. How do you think of that? Hmm? What do you think of that, Mr. Phony?
Come on, Blanche. You better quiet down.
Don't yell at me, you bartender. You got any class at all, you keep these mashers out of here. A fine, lousy bar you're running.
Let's go outside, lady.
You just try and take me out there. You come another step, I'll knock your head off.
Blanche, please, honey, take it easy.
All right, miss, you said enough. Now let's go outside.
Oh, sure. You got a big picture of that, me going out there, and you two can gang up on me. No, that's N-O. I ain't going no place with you.
You got it wrong.
I have I? Well, I'll just show you. Police! Police! Somebody help!
We are the police.
You want another call? Help! Police!
Sit down.
All right. I know when I'm late. You don't have to shove me around anymore. Just leave me alone, that's all. Just leave me alone.
You got some hot coffee? Yeah, sure, I'll get it.
Bring it back to this booth. Will you? Come on, everything's going to be all right, lady.
No, it isn't. Not ever again. Not ever.
All right, sit down there. There's a handkerchief.
Oh, thanks. I never done anything like that before.
That's all right.
I guess I'm arrested.
Not yet.
I didn't mean anything by it. Nothing. Just I didn't know you guys, and then I was a little drunk. Just all of a sudden I wanted to hit something, that's all. Just hit something. You were handy.
Here's your coffee.
Thanks.
You want cream or sugar?
No, what?
Anything I can do for you?
No, that's all.
I'll be up front if there is.
All right.
Go ahead, miss. Try the coffee. Might make you feel better.
Oh, it's hot. I'm too sorry about hitting you.
That's all right.
Really? It's nice of you to say so. What were you going to ask me when all this started?
You want to take a look at this picture here and tell us if you know the man?
Sure. I guess I owe you that. Is the guy?
Yeah, that one there.
Sure, it's Jarvis.
Last name Dean?
Yeah.
What do you know about him?
Guy. Had a couple of drinks with him.
You know where he is?
Not now. Saw him this morning. Had a cup of coffee. Haven't seen him since then.
Is he still in town?
I don't think so.
You know where he is?
No. Said he'll run up to L.A. on some business.
Did he say what kind of business?
No. We haven't talked much about that.
You got any idea where Dean was going in L.A.?
He didn't give me an address.
Did he say when he'd be back?
That's what we had the beef about. He just shoved off. Said something about meeting the guy up there. Said this fellow's in some kind of trouble and that he had to try and square it.
Did he say who it was?
Let's see. I'm not sure I can remember.
It's pretty important.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. It was Bowen. Yeah, I had to see a guy named Bowen.
Did he say what it was about?
No. Not that I can remember. He just told me that he and this Bowen guy were on a deal together. Bowen had lost it up. Said he had to take care of him.
The description of Dean's car that the girl gave us matched the one we'd gotten from our informant. We checked the room he'd occupied in Palm Springs. We talked to the local authorities. They agreed to check further on the suspect. Frank and I left for Los Angeles. The following morning, we contacted Captain Bernard.
It all goes together.
Huh?
You better find him fast.
Why, something wrong?
I don't know, but it could happen.
What do you mean?
Bowen was released on a writ last night.
Additional bulletins were gotten out on both men. Bowen's house was put under surveillance, and all of his known hangouts were watched. 2 days passed without word. And then on Thursday, March 10th at 10:57 a.m., Frank and I got back to the office from checking out a lead.
Ready?
Yeah.
Note in the book for you. Important.
Thank you.
What is it?
Supposed to call the sheriff's department.
Wonder what it is.
I don't know yet. We'll find out.
Well, I didn't figure you would, Joe, not until you made the call. Just wondered what it was.
Dave Terry, please. Well, Dave? Joe Friday. No, we haven't. Where? Any idea when that happened? No, we better come over and see you. Right. Bye. We're in trouble.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They found a body out on the desert this morning. Looks like it was a hit and run.
Bowen?
No, Jarvis Dean. Frank and I left the office and went over to the Hall of Justice where we met with Sergeant Dave Terry. He showed us the photographs taken at the scene and the reports filed by the officers who discovered the body. From the appearance, it had been struck by a car traveling at high speed. A thorough search had been made of the area, but no trace of Jarvis Dean's car could be found. There was no apparent explanation as to how he'd gotten out on the desert. Another local and an APB was gotten out asking that Kate Bowen be picked up for questioning on suspicion of murder. A week went by. There was no word of the suspect. Border stations had been alerted in the event he tried to escape into Mexico. Checkpoints at the California-Nevada border had descriptions of both the car and the suspect. Saturday, March 19th, Frank and I got back from the stats office.
Well, it's another dead end.
Yeah.
Where to now?
Well, we can check with the skipper, see if he's got any ideas.
All right.
Come on in.
Where you been? Been looking for you.
Stats office. They just finished a run. They didn't come up with anything.
You don't need it.
Huh?
You got half the country looking for Bowen, and he's in your pocket.
What do you mean?
Main jail. Picked up last night in 502.
Cade Bowen had been picked up the night before at the corner of 7th and Hill Streets. He'd been observed by a radio car driving in an erratic manner and had refused to stop when the officers directed him to. After a 10-block chase, he'd been halted, but when the officers asked to see his identification, he told them he didn't have any. He was taken to the main jail and booked on charges of drunk driving. A check of his fingerprints had revealed his name, and we were notified. His car had been impounded, and the crime lab was going over it. We had the suspect brought to the city hall.
What is it this time? I held up the Federal Reserve?
All right, come off it, Bowen. You know where you're sitting now. This is the last time around for you.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
You won't hear it again.
Where you been for the last week?
Sleeping.
No, I know. Where?
Any place I could find a soft mattress? Hey, you guys ought to pull some strings and get some new bedding over the main jail. Those bunks are hard.
Sure. You know a man named Jarvis Dean? Jarvis Dean, do you know him?
Might.
That's no answer.
That's the best I can do.
Look, mister, we're getting tired of playing with you. You're in trouble, and it doesn't come in any bigger sizes. Now, I'm not going to tell you to play it smart because you wouldn't know what I was talking about, but you snap to and answer these questions. Now, do you know Jarvis Dean?
I met him.
When'd you see him last?
A couple of weeks ago.
We understand he was with you on the burglary.
It's a fairy tale.
We got it straight.
I didn't know you listened to gossip.
Where'd you get the car you were driving last night?
I bought it.
From who?
Used car dealer.
Well, then you tell us why it's registered to Jarvis Dean, will you?
Well, I don't know anything about that.
Last time we talked to you, it was for a burglary beef. It's a lot more serious this time.
That's so.
That's right. Suspicion of murder.
Who'd I kill?
Jarvis Dean.
You're out of your head.
We always are. Now tell us why he let you drive his car.
I don't know if it is his car.
Department of Motor Vehicles says it is.
We checked it. All of the stolen merchandise was found.
Now, you got no right to go through my things.
Last time we heard of the stuff, Jarvis Dean had it.
What's the matter? Did you have a fight about what to do with it?
Maybe you got sore because he was letting you carry the beef yourself. That what happened?
Come on, Bowen. You're boxed in.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, let's check the office, see if there's any word from the crime lab.
I'll do it then.
Tell you what, cop. You win, I'll tell you.
About Dean?
I don't know anything about him. I'm talking about the burglary.
Yeah.
I did it. You don't have to go any further.
No deal. We got you on something bigger. I think we can make that hold up.
Look, I'm willing to cop out to the other.
How'd you do?
Well, here's the report.
Well, that wraps it up.
Yeah?
All right, Bowen, let's go.
Huh?
We don't have to talk to you anymore. The crime lab just finished going over the car.
Yeah?
They found where you had that fender repaired.
Well, some drunk ran into me.
They checked the springs underneath, found traces of fabric, matched the jacket Dean had on when he was killed.
We got enough to make you on it.
You can't prove I was driving the car, and there's no way you can prove it.
We think we can.
Go ahead. You just take it into court. Try. By the time you get through, the judge and the jury will be laughing.
All right?
Sure, they'll tell you how far out you are. They'll laugh right in your face.
They'll tell you something, too.
Yeah?
And they won't be laughing.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 16th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Cade Neil Bowen was tried and convicted of murder in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. On recommendation of the jury, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary, San Quentin.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. You get a report that a teenage boy has been found in a downtown alley. He's in critical condition. Your job? Check it out.
It was Wednesday, November 16th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. We're on our way into the office, and it was 9:17 p.m. when we got to the second floor of Georgia Street Juvenile. Squad room.
I don't know, Joe.
What?
You see a kid like that, you start wondering.
Yeah.
15 years old, trying to hold up a liquor store. Kind of worries the guy.
What do you mean?
What about your own kids? How are they going to turn out?
Well, most of them turn out okay.
Yeah, can't help worrying, though.
Well, you're a father.
Maybe you're better off, Joe, not having the worries.
You really believe that?
Well, I guess so.
Well, why don't you stop trying to marry me off?
Oh, say, that reminds me.
Yeah.
You know the Phillips, live down the street from us?
I don't think I do.
They were over for dinner the same night you were.
No.
Last summertime, Faye made fried chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Remember it?
I remember the chicken. Go ahead.
You're going to spend Christmas with us, aren't you?
Christmas.
Faye told me to be sure and remind you. It's only a month or so off.
That's soon.
Yeah. Can we count on you?
Yeah, if we're not working.
Swell. I'll let Faye know.
What's this got to do with the Phillips?
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's got nothing to do with them, Joe. Why are you so darn suspicious?
Which one of them has the sister?
Huh?
Come on, Mr. and Mrs. Which one?
Both of them, for all I know.
Well, which one has a sister who's coming out here for the holidays? Which one?
Mrs. Phillips.
And they're all going to be at your place for Christmas dinner, is that it?
Well, Faye hasn't asked them yet. She wanted to be sure that you...
Mm-hmm.
Okay to ask them?
They're your friends.
You won't regret it, Joe. You know Mrs. Phillips is darn nice looking. Good talker to her for sisters, anything like
Just
she
do
is.
me one big favor, will you?
What's that?
Christmas is still 5 weeks away. Don't start selling me now.
I wouldn't try to sell you on any girl. You know that.
You bet.
I never even met this one. I was just thinking that sometimes you can kind of sort of judge a person by family and...
Juvenile Friday. Where's that? I see. Yeah. Found a kid lying in an alley off Sheridan Street. He's hurt pretty bad.
An accident?
Knife in his back. Frank and I drove out to the address where the victim had been found. It was a dark alley that opened onto Sheridan Street in the block between 5th and 6th. An ambulance had been called, and the boy had already been moved to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. 9:42 p.m. We talked to one of the patrol car officers who had discovered the body.
We're only a couple blocks away. We headed right over.
Where'd you find him?
Yeah, I'll show you. Right here against that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Must have lost a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Knife still in him?
Mm-hmm. Small of the back. Looked like he'd been beat up, too.
You see anything about who did it?
Well, he mumbled something. We couldn't understand him, and then he passed out.
How old would you say he was?
Oh, 15, 16, maybe. He's a good-looking kid, about 5'8", black hair, blue eyes, regular features.
What kind of clothes?
Had jeans and a jacket, windbreaker type.
See anybody around who might have done it?
No, not a soul. The street was deserted.
Mm-hmm.
My partner's out looking now. I'll give him a hand.
All right.
Who filed a complaint?
I don't know.
Well, we check the board.
I'm afraid that won't help. Well, they don't know either.
While a patrol car officer searched the neighborhood for suspects, Frank and I canvassed the area for the person who had reported the crime. 10:16 p.m. We talked to the patrons in the nearby bar and grill. They denied having any knowledge of the assault. 10:42 p.m. We entered a small tobacco shop on the corner of Sheridan and 8th.
Evening, gents.
How are you, sir?
Hi. What can I do for you?
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Sam Crest here.
Mr. Crest?
Something troubling you fellas?
I'd like to talk to you for a minute, that's all.
Done anything I shouldn't?
No, sir, not as far as we know.
Well, you never can tell, you know. The way they keep making up new laws nowadays, a person can be a criminal without even half trying.
Mm-hmm.
Too many rules. That's what's wrong with this country. Too darn many rules.
Yes, sir.
Ought to be just one.
How's that?
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Golden rule. That ought to be more than sufficient.
Yeah.
Don't work out that way, though. A man could live up to it every day of his life and still wouldn't keep him out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
Golden rule don't say nothing about paying income taxes or taking out licenses or filing Social Security reports. Well, does it?
No, doesn't seem to.
But you're in jail if you don't do them.
Yeah.
Man can live by the golden rule, don't make no difference.
It makes a difference.
Oh, some maybe, but not enough.
Have you been here all evening, Mr. Crest?
Since supper time.
When was that?
6:30. Eat at the drugstore over on Soto Street. Stopped serving food at 7.
I see, sir. What time did you get back to the store, do you remember?
Oh, 5 odd, maybe.
And you've been here ever since?
Sure. You ain't doubt my word.
No, sir.
I tell the truth, you know.
Yes, sir.
I may not get all of my government forms figured out right, but I'm a truthful man.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody suspicious come in here tonight?
Suspicious?
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid you'll have to explain that. You see, I ain't no policeman. Folks don't look suspicious to me. They just look like folks.
Well, any strangers, then?
Sure, lots of strangers. 8 or 10, maybe.
I see.
Strangers to me, leastways. I don't get acquainted with folks easy. Man comes, buys a pack of cigarettes or some tobacco. Don't make him a friend.
Well, now, sir, most of tonight's customers been in before.
Oh, some of them had, yeah. Some of them hadn't. I don't keep track.
I see.
Did you hear anything out on the street?
Traffic. Folks walking by. You fellas sure ain't very specific.
Well, anything like a fight?
Front of my place?
In the neighborhood.
Well, I didn't hear no fight. Somebody get to mixing it up?
Looks that way.
Oh, yeah, that's the trouble with this world. People always squabbling. Wherever you go, whatever you do, it ends up in squabbling. Who was it?
We don't know yet.
Anybody hurt?
Yes, sir.
Well, probably brung it on himself.
Maybe.
Were there any youngsters hanging around your place tonight, Mr. Crest?
Youngsters?
Teenagers?
Well, if there was, I didn't notice them. Kids, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just don't know what we're coming to.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sure. Right.
Good night, sir.
There was one.
How's that?
One young fella. He didn't hang around, though. He was in a big rush.
You know him?
No, I don't think I ever saw him before.
Could you describe him for us?
Oh, just an ordinary kid.
How big was he?
Oh, not big. He come up to about here on me.
Mm-hmm.
Probably don't have his full growth yet.
I see. Do you recall how he was dressed?
Well, I didn't pay much attention, only in the shop a couple of minutes.
What color was his hair?
Light, reddish, or blondish.
Nice-looking boy?
Oh, no better or worse than most.
What time did you see him?
Must be nearly a couple of hours ago, along about 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Come charging in all out of breath.
Yeah.
Asked if I had a phone. I pointed out the booth over there in the corner.
Go ahead.
Well, there's nothing more to tell. He run over the booth, made a call. Wasn't on the phone more than a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Then he come out and left the shop.
Anything else you can tell us about him?
I don't think so, no. Except that when he was leaving...
Yeah.
He wasn't in a hurry like when he come in. He sort of peered out the door first.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed as though all the steam had gone out of him. He looked back over his shoulder.
Yes, sir.
Doggonest expression on his face.
What do you mean?
Like he was scared to death.
While we're in the tobacco shop, we telephoned Georgia Street Receiving Hospital and talked to Dr. Sebastian. He told us that the victim was in a critical condition and had been moved to General Hospital. He also told us that they'd not been able to identify the boy. We called General and asked to be notified when he was able to talk. 11:31 p.m., Frank and I went back to the office. Homicide was notified. The patrol car officers who had discovered the body reported that they had not found any suspects in the vicinity of the crime. 11:46 p.m., we checked with the crime lab. An examination of the weapon had revealed no useful fingerprints. It was a spring blade knife with an 8-inch blade. 12:02 a.m., Frank and I went off duty, and another team of detectives continued the investigation. The next morning, Thursday, November 17th, 8:12 a.m.
Morning, Joe.
Hi.
Anything new?
No, not so far.
How about missing persons?
Nobody's reported them.
It's funny. You'd think somebody'd be looking for him by now, his folks or somebody.
Yeah, you would.
Mm-hmm. Any coffee and that thing?
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
Probably cold by now.
Better than nothing.
Did you miss breakfast?
I wasn't hungry.
Oh.
Oh, you're right.
Huh?
It's cold.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
About Christmas?
What about it?
Well, we won't invite Mrs. Phillips' sister if you don't want us to.
Mm-hmm.
No. I got to thinking last night people shouldn't force a guy to get married and raise a family if it's against his best judgment.
Well, who's getting married and raising a family? It's just a Christmas dinner, huh?
Yeah, but you know Faye.
Well, you know me. I got it. Juvenile Friday. Yes, sir. All right, sir. Thank you very much. General Hospital. The boy's coming, too.
Yeah? Can we talk to him?
Yeah, for a minute or two. We better get a move on.
Oh?
Doc said to hurry. Frank and I drove out to General Hospital. The doctor in charge of the case was waiting for us in the hall outside the patient's room.
Nothing fighting?
Yes, sir. Is it all right to go in?
Don't stay too long.
All right.
You going to be all right, Doc?
It's too soon to tell. If the wound was an inch higher, I could give you an answer.
Yeah?
You'd be dead.
We went on into the room. The shades were drawn, and the victim was in semi-darkness. His eyes were open, but he closed them as soon as he saw us enter.
How you feeling, son? Son?
I'm okay.
I'd like to talk to you for a couple of minutes.
No way of stopping you, is there?
What's your name, son?
What's yours?
Smith, Frank Smith. My partner's Joe Friday.
Cops?
That's right. Well?
Well, what?
How about telling us who you are?
I forgot.
Oh.
You know, amnesia.
Yeah.
How'd you get hurt, kid?
Forgot that, too.
We're trying to help you, son.
Not my fault if I don't remember nothing.
You know you're pretty sick.
Sure.
But it's not amnesia.
You a doc?
No.
And you tell what's wrong with me.
Who knifed you?
Now, what happened?
Come on, what's your name?
Abraham Lincoln. You guys can call me Abe.
All right, we'll find out.
Go ahead.
What were you doing on Sheridan Street last night?
That where I was?
You want him to get away with it?
Who?
The fellow that stuck a shiv in your back?
Now, who'd do a thing like that?
That's what we want you to tell us.
Hey, you know what?
Hmm?
It's all starting to come back to me.
Tell us about it.
There was this black sedan, see?
Mm-hmm.
Great big job.
Yeah.
I was walking along the street, sedan pulled up beside me, 12 guys jumped out.
Yeah.
Told you it was a big job.
Mm-hmm.
6 of them tried to grab me.
All right, that's enough.
But you want to know what happened? They was all wearing masks.
I said that's enough.
Sure.
Now, you listen to me, son. We're going to find out who you are and who stabbed you.
Sorry I ain't in a position to offer a reward.
You want your face in all the newspapers?
What for? I ain't important.
I said we're going to find out who you are. Well?
Okay, if you want to play detective.
Let's have it.
Tom.
Tom what?
Marcotte.
Where do you live?
Diamond Street.
What number?
Apartment house, corner of Diamond Olympic, second floor in the back.
Now, suppose you tell us what happened last night.
Guy jumped me, that's all I know.
Who was he?
I don't know, I never saw him before.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
What did he look like?
I don't know, it was dark.
Somebody your own age?
Heck no.
How old was he?
30, 35.
Why'd he pick you?
I don't know, must have thought I had some dough.
You never saw him before.
That's what I said.
How tall was he?
I don't know.
Did you get a look at his face?
Uh-uh.
Can you tell us anything about him?
Nope.
But you know how old he was.
I got a feeling, that's all.
Yeah.
Where do you go to school?
Taylor High.
What year?
10th.
Any gangs in your school?
I don't know.
You don't belong to one, do you?
Nope.
You had any kind of trouble lately?
What kind of trouble?
With the other kids at the school.
Didn't you guys get anything straight? It wasn't a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you live with, Martha?
My old man.
Where's your mother?
Under a tombstone.
We'll get in touch with your dad.
What for?
He might be worried about you.
Want to bet?
We were unable to get any additional information from the victim. We went back to the office and checked the name Tom Marcotte through R&I. They had nothing on him. 9:47 a.m. Frank and I drove out to the address he'd given us. It was a 2-story stucco apartment house, badly in need of repair. We went up the second floor.
Must be this one.
Yeah.
I don't hear anybody.
Take it easy, will you? All right. What's all the pounding for?
Marcotte?
Yeah?
We're police officers. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Well, what do you want?
Come in for a minute?
If you don't, I'm going to fall flat on my face. Oh, boy. My head's coming apart in shreds.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of tied one on last night.
That's so.
Haven't got an aspirin, have you?
No, sir.
Right not. Can of beer?
No.
No.
That's what I really need. Usually keep a couple in the refrigerator for an emergency like this.
Mm-hmm.
But that kid of mine's been guzzling them again.
We'd like to talk to you about your son, Mr. Marcotte.
Yeah?
You know he didn't come home last night.
Didn't he?
No.
No way of me knowing it. I work nights, drive a hack, don't get home till 4 or 5. He leaves for school before I wake up.
I see.
What'd you pick him up for?
He's not under arrest.
Huh?
He's in the hospital.
Hospital?
That's right. He was stabbed last night.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's going to be all right, ain't he?
They don't know yet.
Oh.
We thought you might be able to help us.
Help you?
Yeah, find out who did it.
You know who your son's friends are?
I don't know nothing about him. We aren't very close.
Let me see.
Has he been worried lately about anything? Upset?
No more than usual.
How's he doing in school?
Lousy.
Oh.
They always ask me to come down and talk to him. Principal, his teacher.
What do they say about him?
I don't go.
Mm-hmm.
I went a couple of times when he first came to live with me. Didn't do any good.
That's so.
I can't change him. Anything I tell Tom just rubs him the wrong way. So he's on his own.
How long has your son lived with you?
3 years.
How about before that?
He was with his mom.
Yeah.
She divorced me a couple of years after he was born. Took him with her.
Mm-hmm.
When she died, there was nobody else to look after him. He had to come back to me.
Yeah.
Hey, get me a glass of water. Only take a second.
Yeah.
Looks like the kid was right.
Huh?
About his father.
Maybe.
He doesn't seem very upset.
No.
He's got to stop his drinking.
Yeah.
Never used to feel like this when I was younger.
Is that right?
He'd go on a bath for 2-3 days, come out of it and feel okay. Can't take it anymore.
Well, sir, we'll be leaving. If you'd like to see your son, he's at General Hospital.
Tom asked to see me?
He's pretty sick, Market.
You talked to him, didn't you?
That's right.
He asked to see me?
No, he didn't.
Didn't think so. I guess I can't blame him for hating me. He figures I didn't want him after his mom died. Figured I had to take him.
Yeah.
Tried to tell him different. He didn't believe me. We just can't talk, Tom and me.
Mm-hmm.
Father and son living in the same apartment. Like we speak a different language. Think I'll go down and see him?
Well, that's up to you.
Be nice for me. It's funny. Live with somebody who hates you, your own son.
Well, maybe you're wrong about him.
Yeah, see it in his face, his eyes, the way he talks. Every time I look at him, I can see it. Tom's the one who's wrong.
Yeah.
It's not his fault, but he's wrong. You wouldn't believe it on a stack of Bibles. Even you guys don't.
What's that?
But I love him.
Frank and I drove out to the Taylor High School on Grand Avenue. 10:57 a.m. We interviewed the principal, James Wingor. He told us that Tom Market was a poor student and that he was difficult to manage. He also told us that the boy had a good mind and was capable of much better work than he performed. He was unable to throw any light on the knifing and suggested that we talk with the victim's homeroom teacher, Miss Nora Rollins. 11:16 a.m. We interviewed Miss Rollins in a small room which adjoined the principal's office.
I'm supposed to be giving an English examination during this period, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am. This will only take a couple minutes.
You have a student named Tom Marcotte?
Certainly, he's in my homeroom.
What kind of a boy is he?
Noisy, lazy, impossible to discipline. Similar to a number of the others.
Mm-hmm.
He's absent today, though.
Yes, ma'am, we know.
Something happened to Tom?
He's had an accident.
An accident or a fight?
Why do you say that?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Has he had any fights lately?
Came to school with a cut lip 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Does Tom have any particular enemies?
I really don't know. There are over 75 students in my homeroom. It's a little difficult to know very much about any of them.
Yes, ma'am.
How about friends? Who's he pal around with, do you know?
Nobody in particular, as far as I can tell. No, wait a minute. There's one boy.
Ma'am?
Arthur Jollett.
What does he look like?
Well, he's small, red-haired, almost as troublesome as Tom.
Is he in school today?
I believe so.
Well, ma'am, is there anything else you can tell us about Tom?
No, except that I don't have much hope for him.
How's that?
Well, I've asked his father to come in and see me several times. So far, he's always declined the invitation.
Yeah.
Is Tom badly hurt?
Yes, ma'am, pretty bad.
What was it?
Knife wound.
No. 17 years ago, when I first started teaching, that would have shocked me.
I see.
It was a very naive young lady, Sergeant.
Is that right?
I thought all a person had to do to become a teacher was to take the right courses, get a degree, and a credential.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed such a simple matter. I wanted to teach English literature, so I studied English literature. Shakespeare, Chaucer, Browning, Keats, Shelley.
Yes, ma'am. As
I continue in the profession, I discovered that I omitted one essential course.
What's that?
Judo.
We asked Mr. Wingor if we could interview the student named Arthur Jollett. He asked his secretary to have the boy sent in to us.
Sounds like he's the one who called in the report.
Yeah.
Must have been with Marcotte when it happened, huh?
Come in.
You want to see me?
That's right. Come in, son.
You're Arthur Jollett, huh?
Ain't that who you asked for?
Sit down, son. We're police officers. This is Smith. My name's Friday.
You have a friend named Tom Marcotte?
I know him.
Pretty good friend of yours, is he?
He's a friend.
You been with him lately?
When?
Yesterday, day before?
Sure.
Where?
Here. We've got some of the same subjects.
How about after school?
Uh-huh.
You saw him after school, did you?
Night before last.
Last night, too?
Uh-huh.
Where were you last night?
Movie.
Well, who'd you go with?
Went along.
What movie?
Double bill in Hollywood.
What'd you do afterward?
Hitched a ride home.
Spend any time around Sheridan Street?
Where's that?
You want us to show you?
Huh?
Come on, we'll take you over there.
What for?
I'd like to have you meet a man who runs a tobacco shop in that part of town.
You kidding or something?
Young fella came into his place last night.
So?
The way he described him, it could be you.
You must be blind or something.
Well, let's find out. Come on.
Come on.
Okay, so maybe I was in his neck of the woods. What's the beef?
Your friend Market was around there, too, wasn't he?
Coincidence.
Yeah.
What's the matter with Tom, anyhow?
Why?
He ain't been in school today.
He's in the hospital.
Oh.
Good thing you called us when you did. He might be dead by now.
Who says I called you?
Man who runs the tobacco shop?
How the heck could he tell it? Well, I mean, who I was calling.
All right, Jollop. Give us the whole story now, will you?
What story?
Come on, let's get it over with.
If it's about Tom, ask him.
We're asking you. You want us to take you in?
Of course not.
It's up to you.
Ain't much to tell. Just walking around, Tom and me.
Yeah.
Fellow jumped out from an alley, came at us with a knife.
Go ahead.
Took a swing at Tom. I ducked off.
Yeah.
Called the cops. That's all I know.
Who was it, Jollop?
Your guess is as good as mine.
We don't think so.
Suit yourself.
I thought Tom was a friend of yours.
He is.
Well, we want to know who stabbed him.
What do you expect me to do, dream up a name?
How big was he?
Medium size.
How old?
19, 20.
Tom says he was about 35.
Tom ought to know. He's a lot closer to him.
All right. Let's go down to the juvenile bureau.
Oh, I told you everything I know.
Want to show you some mug shots.
Forget it. I wouldn't recognize his picture.
Let's give it a try, anyway.
I'll take it easy, will you?
What's the matter?
I don't want to be seen leaving with you guys.
Is that right?
Wouldn't do my reputation any good.
Who are you afraid of?
I ain't afraid.
The guy who knifed your buddy? Is that who you're afraid of?
Look, if Tom wanted you to know, he'd have told you, wouldn't he? Tom ain't dead.
All right, come on, Jollop. Let's go.
Give me an answer. Is Tom okay or not?
Does that make any difference to you?
Sure, it makes a difference.
It doesn't look like it to us.
I'm no squealer.
All right, you've had your chance. Now you got to go in. Come on.
You can't arrest me.
A boy was stabbed last night. You saw it. As far as we know, you're the only other person who was there. Now you figure it out.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. Tom will tell you so. You throw me in jail, my own man will kill me.
Well, that's tough.
I ain't going to take the rap.
It's up to you.
Okay. Okay, it was Jerry.
Jerry who?
Longman.
You go to the school?
Yeah.
What was it all about?
Tom tried to date Jerry's girl. Jerry heard about it. Followed us last night.
I'll get a hold of Longman.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Jerry finds out I squealed on him, he'll do even worse to me. He ain't going to find out, is he?
We won't tell him.
If it tumbles, you can start sending flowers. Jerry's the big man around school.
Yeah.
We're 6 foot, lots of muscle, lots of shove.
Well, that doesn't make him a big man, does it?
Huh?
He needs a knife.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 2nd, a hearing was held in Juvenile Department, Superior Court, State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. Petitions were filed on both the victim and the subject. The victim, Thomas Marcotte, was placed under 24-hour supervision in a foster home. The subject, Jerome Longren, due to a previous juvenile record and the viciousness of the attack, was sentenced to a juvenile correctional establishment.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A gunman has robbed a bank in your city. From his method of operation, you know he's dangerous. Your job? Get him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 4th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. It was 12:36 p.m. when I got the call, and it took me 8 minutes to get back to the city hall. Robbery squad room.
Back here, Joe?
Yeah.
Back here.
What's up?
Oh, bank job and slugging. We got a rule on.
Where?
Corner Melrose and Fountain.
Anybody else on it?
Yeah, J.J. and Murph went out.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Friday, Smith?
Yeah, Lieutenant.
You two going to cover the bank holdup?
Yeah, we're just leaving.
Donahoe called in. He's out with J.J. and Murph. They got it covered out there. Skipper wants you to tag Georgia Street and talk to the guard. See if you can get any information out of him.
All right. What's the name?
I haven't got it. There's a uniform man with him. Old guy's in pretty bad shape.
Yeah.
When the thief left the bank, the guard tried to stop him. Old man pulled a gun, misfired, pistol whipped the old guard. He's in critical condition. We just got word that you can talk to him if you get right over there. Better make it fast.
All right.
And good luck.
Yeah.
We got to come up with an identification. We got to get it in a hurry. The guy's still running. Matter of time before somebody gets in his way.
Yeah.
We can't count on it next time. The gun jamming.
12:47 p.m. Frank and I left the city hall and drove over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. It took us 5.5 minutes traveling code 3. We went up to the 3rd floor and met the officer who'd been with the guard.
You fellas from Central?
Yeah, Friday and Smith.
I want to see the victims.
You missed him.
What do you mean?
He died 5 minutes ago.
We checked with the doctor in attendance and found that the victim had said nothing to aid in identifying the suspect. We returned to the office. A local broadcast on an APB had been gotten out on the man carrying his description. The crew from the crime lab had gone over the premises of the bank without gaining any new information. The clerks and tellers had been brought to the city hall to check the mug books. Everything possible was being done to apprehend the bank guard's killer, but without being able to identify him, the job was almost impossible. At 2:48 p.m., we got a call from Captain Donahoe.
That's right, Skipper. No, they're in the mudroom now. No, not yet. Oh, wait a minute. Joe, you want to toss me that pad there?
Yeah.
Here you go, Skipper. Yeah. I see. I got it. No, we'll check right away. Yeah, as soon as we find out. Yes, sir. All right, goodbye.
What do you got?
I checked around the neighborhood, found a newsboy, saw the suspect leave the bank.
Yeah.
Kid got the license number.
An immediate check was made with the Department of Motor Vehicles and with our vehicle records. It took us 2 minutes to get the information. Yeah, we figured it'd turn out that way. Hey, want to give me the address? All right. Okay, we'll run it out.
How about it?
Car was stolen a week ago. A team of men went out to talk to the owner of the automobile. Additional broadcasts were gotten out on the stolen car carrying the license number, the make, and model description. In the event the car was found abandoned, it was to be staked out and we were to be notified. Roadblocks were set up in the area adjacent to the bank and all vehicles were checked. Captain Donahoe came in from the scene and a meeting was held between him and Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. At the time, 25 officers from Robbery Division were trying to find a lead to identify the thief. We knew what he looked like, what kind of car he was driving. We knew what kind of gun he had and how much money he'd stolen, but we didn't know who he was or where to find him. The night dragged on. At 1:26 a.m., we got our first break in the case.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm one of the bank tellers.
Yes,
The officer who was with us went out to bring in some coffee.
I see.
He said if we found anything, to come in here.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we have. All of us agree. We're real sure.
What is it?
The hold-up man. We found his picture.
The suspect was identified as Thomas Bud Carey, WMA, 26 years. According to his package, he'd been arrested the first time when he was 16. He'd served a total of 5.5 years in state institutions. We checked with Fred Galloway of the Adult Authority and found that there was an outstanding warrant on Carey for parole violation. Additional broadcasts were gotten out carrying his name and description. Officers in the field were notified of the latest developments. While other teams of men covered Carey's known hangouts and friends, Frank and I left the office and drove out to see his mother. She lived in a run-down apartment house on the east side of town. The building was dark when we got there.
Yeah, here it is, number 5.
They ought to put a light in here. This ought to be it.
Yeah.
Maybe easy carry might be here. Open up. Police officers, we want to talk to you.
Nothing for the cops. Get out of here and leave me alone.
Come on, Miss Carey, open up.
I ain't Miss Carey no more. Now go away.
We can do it 2 ways. You can talk to us here, or we can go downtown.
What's it about?
Your son.
On in. Where's he going?
We want to check.
For what? There ain't nothing here. One lousy room. That's it.
We can see.
It's the kitchen. Better take a look in the stove. Might be something there.
The place is clean, Joe.
It's not true either. Now, what do you want?
Have you seen your son?
He in trouble again?
We'd like to talk to him.
What's he done now?
You know where he is?
No.
You know where we can find him?
I haven't seen him for a couple of months. Might as well be dead.
Well, he isn't.
Ain't any difference to me, one way or the other.
You know where he lives?
It ain't here.
That's no kind of an answer.
Question don't fit either. Look, I'll tell you. I'm his mother. Long time ago, gave him to the world. I've had trouble ever since. Gallagher again. I'll sleep with the radio on.
Lady, you got any idea where we can find your son?
No.
You got any close friends?
Maybe. If he has, I don't know.
How about girls?
What about him?
Has your son got one?
Last time I saw him, he had a couple. Both of them married. Same as always. He couldn't do anything the easy way. If it wasn't a problem, he'd make one.
Is there any place he'd go if he was in trouble?
What kind?
Ma'am?
What kind of trouble? What's he done this time?
It'd be better if we talked to him about it.
Yeah, always that way. Talk to him. Don't do any good. I tried for a lot of years. Didn't do no good. You know why?
What's that?
You know why it don't do no good?
Go ahead.
Because you don't listen. You can stand right in front of him and scream the top of your head right off, and he don't hear you.
Is that right?
He was little. First time I caught him stealing, I talked. All day and all night for a week, I talked. He stood there and looked at me. It was over. You know what he did? You know?
No, ma'am.
He did it again. Every time he turned around, he stole something. I tried it all. Beatings, yelling, all of it. I tried it all. His father walked out when Bud was 6, left us by ourselves. I did everything I could to bring him up right. Read the books, saw the minister. Even had the relief people talk to him. He just wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
That time when he was 16, when we first picked him up, I thought that might do it. You know, being in jail, judge in the court. Oh, I prayed it'd work and it'd change.
No.
Didn't. A couple of days later, he was right back.
You tell his probation officers about it?
Bud was 5'10". He was 16, weighed 170 pounds. If I'd opened my mouth, he'd have hit me.
Pretty hard thing to say, isn't it?
Oh, it's harder to live with. All the time, all the tears. I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of working. I'm tired of being alive. I used to pray for him. Asked God to make him come out a big, good man. I prayed and I prayed. And I figured I was praying for the wrong thing. So I changed.
No.
I know him. I know how he thinks and what he'll do. He's mean. In the soles of his feet, he's mean. I still pray. Maybe you're the one to do it.
What's that?
Kill him.
Frank and and I arranged for a stakeout on the building, then we drove back to City Hall. Captain Donahoe and Chief Brown were directing the search from the robbery office. The morning papers had carried the story, and we were receiving calls from citizens who'd seen Carey. From the report, it was believed he'd gotten out of the blockade area, and he was heading for the San Fernando Valley. Roadblocks were thrown up on streets leading off the freeway, and additional men were called in from the Valley Division to aid us in the search. 7:42 a.m. It had been 19 hours since Carey had held up the bank. In that time, the entire facilities of the police department had been devoted to his capture. Lieutenant Dave Terry from the sheriff's office had joined Captain Donahoe and was coordinating their activities with ours. 7:45 a.m. Frank got back with some hot coffee.
Anything new?
No, got a report Carey was seen at the Vineland cutoff.
Check out?
Don't know yet.
And I got some coffee for you, George.
Oh, thanks.
Anything happen?
Yeah, we got him pinned down.
Where?
Valley.
A lot of ground.
Well, we just got a call. Carey pulled into a gas station in Riverside. Attendant recognized him. Tried to stall. Carey got wise, started to leave.
Yeah.
Pulled a gun and shot the man up pretty bad.
Kill him?
No, they got him in Valley Emergency.
What about Carey?
Still loose.
Toner?
Yes,
Friday, Smith?
Hi.
Hi, we got him.
Where?
Broke into a house on Woodman. A couple of motorcycle officers got him pinned down.
Well, let's go.
Joe.
Yeah.
Tag the business office. Check out everything in the racks.
All right.
Go with him, Frank. We'll need gas shells and masks. Barricade and penetration. Better take a box of double R's for the shotguns and plenty of 45s.
Right. You be there?
Leaving now.
I'll go with Joe and Frank.
Okay.
Let's go.
It's getting rougher.
Yeah. Wonder about the house he's picked.
What do you mean?
Who's in it? What kind of place it is?
Doesn't make a lot of difference. We still got the same job.
Huh?
We got to get him out. We left the city hall and drove out to the valley, code 3. By the time we'd gotten there, several other officers from Central Robbery and the Valley Division were on the scene. We talked with Sergeant Pat Murphy of our office.
What do you know about the place?
6 rooms. Here, let me lay out for you. Got a pencil?
I got a pen here.
Oh, thanks. All right, now, the house is built in the shape of a U.
Mm-hmm.
The living room runs along the front, the dining room here on the corner.
Here?
Yeah. Now, the kitchen is here, and here's a back door.
Any cover there?
Officers have found him while watching it.
Yeah.
There's a closet here off a service porch.
Go.
On the other side, there's a bedroom here, door, the bath, and another bedroom.
Just the 2 doors.
Yeah, the front and the one off the kitchen.
Where'd you get this layout?
I talked to the woman next door. She's a friend of the family, owns the place, been inside a lot.
Where are they?
With the family?
Yeah.
We're not sure. A neighbor says she thinks they're all out, and the man goes to work at 6. Woman usually drives the kid to school about 7:30.
Who put out the call?
Motor officers. They saw the car parked at the curb, went to check it out. Carey was inside. He made the house.
They tried to get him out yet?
No, they weren't sure he was alone.
How'd you do?
Well, we got here right after they did. By the time we got to the curb, he started to shoot.
Any chance of getting to him from the back of the house?
Oh, it'd be rough. The shades are all pulled down. Hard to tell where he is. If we go in, he could be sitting under the window waiting for us.
How about the phone?
We tried, and he won't answer it.
Well, that all of it?
Much as we got. Well, what do you want to do?
I'll give him a chance to walk out. It'll be his choice.
Talk to him?
Yeah. Give him a chance to open the door.
Well, it's going to be hard. We haven't been able to get near the place.
Big things to make sure he's alone.
As far as we've been able to tell, he is. There's no movement inside, no noise. Trying to round up the family now.
Can't wait for that. Let's get on it.
I'll try to talk to him.
You can't make it, Joe. He's in a box and he knows it.
Well, maybe that'll bring him out.
You want to do it? Go ahead.
All right.
He makes a move. Get out, fast.
I won't need that.
We'll give you coverage.
All right. Last time you heard from me was in the living room. Is that right?
Yeah. There's 3 windows on the left there.
Okay.
Easy, Joe.
Carey? Carey? Carey. Come on, Carey. You can't sit in there forever. Play it smart. Walk outside and it'll be all right. Don't cause any more trouble now. How about it? Carey? You're making it rougher on yourself. Come on out, Carey. You can't win. You know that. Oh, get out of there! I don't have to tell you, it didn't work.
Yeah. Clock ran out before you started.
Carey isn't going to walk.
Nope.
Well, he called it.
Yeah.
Get the gas guns.
The people living across the street and on each side of the house were asked to leave their homes in the event there would be any more shooting. The riot guns were brought from the car and they were loaded with penetration gas shells. Because of the physical layout of the house, it was decided to shoot into the rear of the building and try to drive the suspect toward the front of the place. Officer Murphy, along with Lieutenant Stoner, went back to the alley that ran along the rear of the property. The two uniformed men covered the sides of the house, and Frank and I took up our stations in front of the building. 9:14 a.m.
How's the time?
Well, they ought to be in position.
Mm-hmm.
You all set on that gun?
Yeah. You think you'll give up?
I don't know. Flip a coin.
Ought to be laying it in now pretty quick.
There it goes.
The way the house is divided, he could close the doors to the back rooms and keep us going for a while.
We still have an idea where he is in the house.
Yeah. I'm sure pouring it in.
Yeah.
That's lousy stuff. Tear gas. Lousy. Still remember it from the academy.
Frank. Front window, see it?
No, where?
Shade was pulled back. I think I saw something.
Carrie?
Get the Stoner. Tell him to hold the gun.
Yeah.
There's a woman in there with him. Because of the possibility that there might be another person in the house, all shooting into the building was stopped. An immediate effort was made to identify the other person. The owner of the place, Virgil Bush, was contacted. He told us that he and his wife had left the house at about the same time. She'd taken their son to a neighborhood school, and then he thought that she'd returned to the house. The check was made at the school, and the youngster was found to be present. From all indications, Mrs. Bush was in the house with Carrie and was being held a hostage. 10:56 a.m., we met with Captain Donahoe and Lieutenant Stoner.
Any chance you were wrong, Joe?
No, I don't think so. Right after the guns went off, I thought I saw the woman at the front window. Looked like she's trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do now, Skipper?
Not much left. The woman's got to get out of there before we can go in after Carrie.
Best way to do that's go in after her.
Yeah.
What about using triple chasers?
Might work.
If we go in the back way, we can drive Carrie toward the living room.
Yeah, but what if he takes the woman with him?
Keep him busy enough, and he won't.
Figures she's given him plenty of trouble by this time. It'll be rough for him to drag her along.
Then it might work.
Who's going in?
Frank, now you can do it.
You can give us a cover.
Where are you going to make it?
Which room did you hit, Stoner?
Back bedroom and the kitchen.
That covers both sides of the house, then.
Yeah.
The gas holding?
As far as we can tell, it's still there.
It might be better then to go into the bedroom. Drive Carrie into the living room. Hope we can pick up the woman on the way.
All right. You got the masks?
I'll get him. Want to give me a hand, Frank?
Yeah. We'll give you all the cover we can, Joe.
Good.
We can't shoot into the house, but we'll make Carrie think we are.
All right.
Once you got the woman, bring her out.
All right.
If Carrie goes into the living room, don't try to go after him. Let him sit for a while. We'll take care of the rest of it later.
Okay.
Here you go, Joe.
All right.
Here are the triple chasers. Six of them ought to do, huh?
Yeah.
I'll take the sawed off. You should be able to handle him with that.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell either one of you to take it easy.
No.
We want that woman, but we want her alive. Anything comes up that gets in the way, pull out. Don't wait to ask questions.
Right.
All right, get on it.
Let's go, Frank.
Right.
Joe.
Yeah.
Carrie's rough. He's playing for keeps. You know he'll kill you if he gets a chance.
Well, that makes it easy.
Hmm?
We won't give him one. Frank and I went around to the back of the house and put on the gas masks. He loaded the shotgun and flipped off the safety. I checked the triple chasers. They're about the size of a beer can, and they're built like a hand grenade. 2 seconds after the pin is pulled and the lever is released, the shell explodes into 3 parts. Each of them throws out a large quantity of tear gas. By using them, an officer can completely fill an area with gas almost immediately. A few minutes after we were in position, the covering gun fire started.
Oh, that's it. Let's go.
Yeah.
You going to toss one in the bedroom?
Better. Make sure it's clear.
Okay.
I'll watch it.
Go ahead. I'll cover you.
All right. All right, come on.
All right. That's clean.
Yeah, let's get to the next room. It's the bathroom, isn't it?
Should be.
Well, if you get the door, I'll toss the shell.
Right.
Wait a minute.
You got the pin?
Wait a minute. Ah, go ahead. Give it a second.
Okay.
Let's go.
And it's empty.
Yeah. Bedroom next?
Uh-huh.
Hold it. Okay. Now, let's go.
It's Carrie.
He's in the living room.
We better get him.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
On the bed, it's the woman. Come on, we better get her out of here.
Right. You naked?
I think so. Get that window, will you?
Yeah. Wait till I get the shade. I'll go first, and I'll take her on the outside.
All right.
Hold it right there, Terry. It's us, Murph. Friday and Smith, give us a hand. We got the woman.
Here, let me help.
Okay, Joe.
All right, you got her?
Yeah.
All right. Come on, let's get her out here.
Wait till I get this mask off, will you? Okay, Joe.
Wait a minute. Yeah. How's the woman?
Well, she seems to be all right. Want to give me a hand getting this tape off?
Yeah.
Thank God you made it. I thought he was going to kill me. Every minute I thought he was going to kill me.
You're all right now, Miss Bush. Take it easy.
He's crazy. That man's crazy. If you hadn't got it, he'd have killed me, sure. I know.
All right, Miss Bush. Let's get out of here. Come on.
You got her, huh?
Yeah, Skipper.
You all right, ma'am?
Yes, it isn't his fault, though. I've never seen anybody like that before.
All right, Mrs. Bush. You want to take her to the car, ma'am?
Sure. Just a minute, ma'am.
What?
Can you tell us how many guns Carrie's got?
What?
How many guns did you see?
What difference does it make?
Makes a lot of difference to us.
I don't know. He's got a pistol.
Yeah, we saw that. Anything else?
Yeah, he's got a rifle, too, a shotgun, I think.
Did you see it?
He brought it into the house.
Where is it?
What do you mean?
What part of the house is it in? Do you know?
The front room, I guess. That's where it was the last time I saw it.
Has he got any shells for it?
Yeah, a lot of them. Had his pockets full.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
You going to get him now?
We're going to try.
You'll have to shoot him.
Ma'am?
He told me so himself. Said you wouldn't take him alive.
Uh-huh.
Told me if you tried, he'd take a couple of you with him.
Well, it isn't going to change things. He's still going. Miss Bush was taken to one of the neighborhood houses, and we got ready to take the suspect into custody. The house was completely surrounded. All of the doors and windows were covered. Each man was instructed to shoot to kill in the event Carrie tried to escape or made any effort to fire into the crowd. In a last attempt to get him out of the house without additional bloodshed, the bullhorn was brought from the car, and we tried to talk to him.
Here you are, Joe.
All right.
Tell him this is the last time around, Joe. We're through playing games.
All right. Carrie? Carrie, give it up. Throw those guns out and you follow them. All right, we'll tell you where you stand. There are a lot of us out here. We've all got orders to kill you if you try anything. You think you can sit in there and we can't touch you? You got it wrong. We'll blow the roof off if we have to.
Tell him he's got 10 seconds, Joe.
All right.
Count them off for him.
All right.
Stand by with gas guns.
Yes.
Go ahead, Joe.
Terry, you're running out of time. We'll give you 10 seconds to come out of there. It's the last time. Throw the guns out and come out after them. 10 seconds, Carrie. That's all you got. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That's all you got. Time's up. All right, throw 'em in. Cover that front porch.
Here's a machine gun, Joe.
I got it.
Must have good lungs.
Yeah.
Toss some more in.
Got to come out pretty quick.
Yeah.
There he is.
Got that shotgun. Keep down.
Yeah. Easy now. Terry. Terry.
Not moving.
Cover me.
Yeah.
How about it? It's all right. Must have been dead when he hit the floor.
Yeah. We were lucky.
I don't know.
What?
We had to kill him.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On Monday, May 9th, an inquest was held in the coroner's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. The coroner's jury found that the death of Thomas Herbert Carey was caused by gunshot wounds resulting from an attempt to resist arrest. The officers were absolved from blame.
Dragnet. The story of your police force in action is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Put a smile in your smoking.
By Chesterfield. So smooth. So satisfying. Chesterfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. An elderly woman reports that a man has stolen $300 from her apartment. She says she saw him. Your job? Check it out.
Put a smile in your smoking.
Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember this. In the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like Chesterfield.
Put a smile in your smoking.
Instantly, you'll smile your approval of Chesterfield's smoothness.
So smooth, so satisfying.
You want them mild. We make them mild. Mild and mellow. With the smooth and refreshing taste of the right combination of the world's best tobaccos. So next time you buy cigarettes,
stop. Start smoking with a smile with Chesterfield. Smiling all the while with Chesterfield. Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Light up a Chesterfield, they satisfy.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, May 19th. It was sunny in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 3:47 p.m. when we got to a small apartment house on the corner of Olympic and 6th. Topeka Arms.
What's that lady's name again, Joe?
Dunbetter, Martha Dunbetter.
Let's see. Yeah, here's her mailbox, number 8.
Must be upstairs.
Well, how do you figure that?
Only 8 mail slots means 8 apartments.
Yeah?
Stands to reason number 8 will be on the 2nd floor, don't it?
Oh, well, I suppose so. Hey, Joe, I wonder who comes from Kansas.
What?
Well, didn't you notice the plaque out in front? Topeka Arms.
Yeah.
That's a city in Kansas. Topeka, Kansas.
Yeah, sure.
Well, somebody must have come from there, the owner or the builder. Why else would they give the place a name like that?
I don't know.
Well, stands to reason, doesn't it?
I guess so.
Well, you see, you're not the only one who can do it.
Do what?
Deduce.
Oh.
That's what they call it, the way you figured out number 8's the 2nd floor. Deduction.
Yeah.
I was just giving you an example. When I proved that somebody connected with the building probably lived in Kansas, didn't you? Right down there. 8, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Deduction never fails, Joe.
Who's there?
Police officers.
Oh, well, just a second. I'm coming. My goodness, you certainly got back. Oh, well, dear me, you aren't the same ones, are you?
No, ma'am. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Well, there were 2 other policemen here just a little while ago. It's a shame you didn't know. Could have saved yourself a trip.
That's all right, ma'am. We knew they'd be here.
They're patrol car officers. They were in the neighborhood, so they answered your call.
Oh, well, I...
All right if we come in?
Oh, my, yes. Oh, yes, please do.
You're Mrs. Martha Dunbetter, is that right?
No, not exactly.
Oh?
It's Miss Dunbetter. I'm still single.
I see.
Well, ma'am, would you mind telling us just what happened this afternoon?
Oh, no, I don't mind at all. It's quite clear.
All right, would you go ahead?
What was that, young man?
Would you go ahead about this afternoon?
Oh, well, now, let's see. I fixed myself some lunch, and then I rid up the dishes. It must have been about 1 o'clock by the time I finished.
All right.
Afterwards, I put on my hat, and I went down to the library. It's only a couple of blocks from here, the Grover Cleveland branch.
Mm-hmm.
I took back my books and checked out 2 fresh ones.
All right. What happened next?
Well, I come home, and there he was.
What's that?
I come home, and there he was.
Who?
Well, that awful man.
Well, just where was he?
Here, in my apartment.
No, I mean which room?
Over there, the bedroom.
I see.
As soon as I come in, I heard him. At least I heard somebody moving around. First, I thought it was Mrs. Parker, the manager. I know she sneaks into my apartment and noses around. Of course, she says she doesn't, but I know better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said to myself, I got her red-handed this time. So I marched into the bedroom all ready to give her a piece of my mind.
Well,
I was never so flabbergasted in my whole life. He was standing in front of the dresser, going through my pocketbook.
I see.
My black bag and leather. It's the one I was holding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ma'am, how much money was in the bag?
Well, I'm not positive. Not to the penny. About $300.
In cash?
Yes, sir. You see, I've been saving dimes for the past 15 years.
You mean this $300 was in dimes?
Oh, goodness gracious, no. Oh. What I do is go through my change every night and put all the dimes in my dime bank. Then when it's full, I take it down to a real bank and change the coins into bills. A dime bank holds $25.
I see.
Well, you'd be surprised how much a person can save that way. It mounts up.
Yes, ma'am. Do you know the denominations of the bills?
I guess they was mostly tens. Maybe one or two bigger ones.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did this man do next, Miss Dunbetter?
Well, he found money. My $300. Stuffed it into his pockets. Then he just strolled out of the apartment big as life. I was too dumbfounded to do anything about it.
I see.
I heard him tramp down the stairs, and then I heard the front door slam. When I was sure he was out of the building, I managed to get my wits together and I dialed Central.
Central?
The operator. And she put me in touch with the police station.
Had you ever seen this man before, Miss Dunbetter?
No. I'm sure I never did.
Could you tell us what he looked like?
Well, he's a tall man.
How tall?
Big as you, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. What color hair, please?
Dark. Very dark.
Eyes?
Dark eyes, too. Dark complected. Like he'd spent a lot of time outdoors.
How was he dressed?
A shirt and pants and a jacket. Light-colored jacket. I think it was green.
Did you notice any scars?
Yes. Come to think of it, I did. Across his forehead. Thin little zigzag.
Mm-hmm. Well, how old would you say he was?
Oh, he's young. 35, maybe 40.
You know if anybody else saw him? The other tenants?
Well, I haven't talked to him, no. Haven't left the apartment since it happened.
You live alone here, do you?
Oh, man, no. My sister Bessie stays with me.
Well, where is she this afternoon?
Well, she went out of town for a few days. Visit her grandson and his family. They come down from Oxnard to get her this morning.
I see.
Tomorrow's her birthday. She'll be 80. I expect they're going to have quite a celebration.
Yes, ma'am.
They're all carrying on. You'd think it was such an accomplishment.
Well, it is a pretty ripe old age, ma'am.
I don't see what's so ripe about it. After all, I'm near to 79 myself. Oh, I know I don't look it. Everybody thinks there's at least 10 years between us. And Bessie is failing.
Yes, ma'am. Just a couple more questions, Miss Dunleary.
Certainly, young man, certainly.
What time was it when you got home from the library?
2:45. Maybe a few minutes after. No later than 3, though.
I see. How'd this fellow get into the apartment? Was the door locked?
Well, I thought it was. I always try to remember to lock it whenever I go out, but sometimes I do forget. Well, I guess I did today.
Mm-hmm. You think he'd recognize the burglar if you saw him again?
I most assuredly would.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing the matter with my eyesight.
Oh, that's fine. We'd like to take you down to the office with us and show you some pictures.
No?
Just to see if you can identify him.
Well, I couldn't go like this. I'll have to change my dress first. Well, I'm all right for walking around in the neighborhood, but not for going downtown.
Well, that's up to you, ma'am.
I'll say Miss Dunbetter while I think of it. Who came from Kansas?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, the name of this apartment, you see, is the Topeka Arms, so I figured somebody connected with it must have come from Kansas.
Oh.
You don't know who it was, do you?
Well, now, let me think. Oh, yes, I remember. That was old Mr. Hendrickson's idea.
Wow, you don't say.
Yes, he was the man who built this building. Well, now, that was, oh, goodness sakes, that was almost 35 years ago. My, how time flies.
Yes, ma'am. How you like that, Joe? This Mr. Hendrickson came from Kansas.
No. Minnesota. Minneapolis, as I recollect.
Oh?
But it was his idea just the same, calling it Topeka Arms. On kind of an article he read in the newspaper while the building was going up.
Ma'am?
Said there was more people in Southern California who come from Kansas than any other state.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Henderson figured the name Topeka would attract a lot of tenants. It's ridiculous nonsense. Said so at the time. There hasn't been a single solitary one.
Oh.
35 years. Not a soul from Kansas has ever lived here.
4:05 p.m. Frank and I put in a call to the crime lab. While Miss Dunbetter changed her dress, we checked the other apartments to see if anybody else had seen the burglar. Only one tenant was in. Mrs. J.T. Blade, apartment 6, informed us that she'd been out marketing at the time of the crime and had just returned home. 4:16 p.m. Lee Jones and a crew from the crime lab arrived. They began their investigation, and we drove Miss Dunbetter down to the city hall. We checked the oddity file and ran the suspect's description and M.O. through the stats office, and they came up with 17 possibles. We pulled mug shots and showed them to Miss Dunbetter. She was unable to make an identification. 6:13 p.m. Lee Jones reported no useful fingerprints or other physical evidence in the apartment. 6:46 p.m. We drove Miss Dunbetter home and we went off duty. The next day, May 20th, 11:17 a.m. I'll get it. Burglary Friday. Who's that? Oh, sure. Yeah. When'd he come in? I see. Oh? Well, I wouldn't know. What's he look like? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'd like to. Right. Thanks a lot. That was Chubb Starks.
Who?
You know, Stark, the bartender over at the Yellow Cat.
Oh, yeah. What's he want?
The guy came into his place last night. He was carrying a pretty big roll. He threw it around, bought drinks for the house.
Yeah.
Got kind of loaded and did some talking about how easy he'd picked up the dough. Just walked in again this morning.
Huh. Sound like anything to you?
And Chubb says he's about 6 foot, black hair.
Yeah.
Scar on his forehead.
Put a smile in your smoking. Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember this. It's today's biggest cigarette news.
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
The Accuray controller is the greatest improvement in cigarette making in years. And it's a Chesterfield exclusive. This amazing quality detective electronically checks and controls the making of your Chesterfield, giving a uniformity in smoking quality never possible before. So buy Chesterfield today. For the first time, you get a perfect smoke column from end to end.
A perfect smoke column from end to end.
From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes smoother. From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes cooler.
From the first puff to the last puff, Chesterfield is best for you.
Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember,
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Light up a Chesterfield, they satisfy.
Frank and I drove out to the Yellow Cat Bar on Figueroa. Chubb Stark, the bartender, pointed out a husky man sitting in a corner booth. We went over to talk to him.
Keep your hands on the table and stand up.
Huh? Police officers, on your feet.
Okay.
All right, you can sit down again.
Something eating you guys?
What's your name?
Why?
Come on, what is it?
Portlong, Ralph Portlong.
Where do you live?
Hotel around the corner?
How long you been staying there?
Since last night.
How about before that?
Back east, they just got in town yesterday.
Whereabouts back east?
What kind of a roust is this?
Where back east?
All over. Chicago, Cleveland, all over.
What kind of business you in?
Unemployed.
You got any money?
Some.
How much?
Look, I ain't no vag if that's what you're getting.
How much money you got?
$100, maybe 150.
Where'd you get it?
I borrowed it.
Who from?
Pal.
In L.A.?
Chicago.
What's his name?
Johnson, Cliff Johnson.
You got his address?
I don't know. He moves around same as I do.
How you going to pay him back if you don't know where he lives?
We'll bump into each other.
What'd you say you got in town, Portland?
I told you yesterday.
What time?
6 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Yesterday morning?
Last night.
You sure of that?
Yeah.
How'd you come? Train?
Car.
You own the car?
I hitched a ride.
Just where were you yesterday afternoon?
Riding into L.A.
All afternoon.
Yep.
What was the driver's name?
Look, how should I? I've been hitching for the last week. I must row with 20 different guys.
You don't remember the one you were with yesterday?
Nope.
Ever been arrested, Portland?
Nothing serious.
Well, tell us about it.
Oh, drunk, that's all.
Where was that?
Ohio when I was a kid.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got some speeding tickets.
You ever been arrested in California?
Never been in California.
First trip, huh?
Yep. You ain't exactly making me feel at home either.
You know an apartment house called the Topeka Arms?
Whereabouts?
6th and Olympic.
Where's that?
In L.A.
Look, can't you get nothing straight? I ain't never been here before.
Mm-hmm.
How about giving me an answer? Why the roust?
All right, come on, let's go.
What for?
We'll show you the sights.
For instance?
City Hall. Frank and I took the suspect into custody for further questioning. 12:16 p.m. We ran the name Ralph Portlong through R&I. They had nothing on him. We put out an APB with his description stating that he was in our custody. The bulletin requested any information about the suspect and was marked Attention Chicago PD and Cleveland Police Department. 2:18 p.m. We again interviewed Portlong. He insisted he had not arrived in Los Angeles until 6 o'clock the previous evening and refused to say anything more. 4:06 p.m. We received replies to our APB on Portlong. Chicago reported 2 convictions for grand theft auto, and Cleveland reported 1 conviction for burglary second degree. We telephoned Miss Dunbetter and arranged for her to attend a special show-up at the main jail. 6:17 p.m. The show-up was completed, and Frank and I took the victim back to our office.
Well, ma'am, you're sure it isn't the same man?
My goodness gracious, I ought to know.
Yes.
Let's see how you could have made such a mistake.
Well, he fits your description even to the scar.
But I told you it was ziggity-zag.
Yeah, you did.
This man's scar's entirely different.
Yes, ma'am.
His hair's wrong, too.
Is that right?
Other man had some gray in it right across here.
I thought you said he was fairly young.
But he doesn't have to be old to get gray. I've been gray ever since I had my appendix out. I was only 34.
All right. What have you taken home now?
It's really a shame.
Ma'am?
You arrested that poor fellow. And he hasn't done anything.
Burglary Friday. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. When did you get it? No, not yet. Will you notify him? Right. Well, I guess we don't need to feel too sorry for Portlong.
What do you mean?
Another answer on our APB.
Yeah?
You were right, Miss Dunbetter. He couldn't have been your burglar.
Well, I told you, didn't I?
He was in Needles yesterday afternoon. He hitched a ride.
Yeah?
Slugged the driver. Ralph Portlong was held pending arrival of authorities from Needles. The investigation of the apartment house burglary continued. 2 more suspects were brought in for questioning. Both men succeeded in establishing alibis for the time of the crime. Monday, May 23rd, 1:48 p.m. Frank and I were on our way back to the office from lunch.
How was your pie?
All right?
Just okay, huh?
I said it was all right.
Lemon meringue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, Joe. You should have had apple.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, stick with apple. You can't go wrong.
The lemon was good.
You didn't finish it.
I was full.
Yeah. Well, someday you'll learn.
Learn what?
Apple pie is always safe. You can't louse it up. Even a bad cook can.
Well, I get a little tired of it once in a while, that's all.
Well, no reason you should. You can switch it around so many different ways.
Yeah, I know.
Cheese, olive oil, hot sauce. No reason to get tired of apple, Joe.
Sure.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Call for you while you're out.
Oh?
I just want you to call back. Here's the number.
Thanks.
Sure.
Bessie Maxon.
Who's that?
I don't know. Mrs. Maxon? There's the police department, Sergeant Friday. Yes, that's right. We were the ones. I guess we can. Well, is something wrong? You sure of that? All right, right away. Thank you for calling. Goodbye. Miss Dunbetter's sister, she just got back from Oxnard.
Yeah?
She says it never happened.
What do you mean?
The burglary. Says her sister made it up. Frank and I drove out to the Topeka Arms, and we went up to apartment number 8. It was 2:17 when we got there.
Somebody's coming again.
Oh.
Well, what is it?
Ms. Maxon?
That's right, that's right.
Well, my name's Friday. I just spoke to you over the telephone.
No, yes, of course.
This is Frank Smith.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do, ma'am?
Come right along inside.
Thank you.
I just don't know what to say. I suppose it's all my fault for going out of town. Should never have left Martha alone. Might have known she'd be up to something.
Are you positively sure about this, Miss Maxon?
About what? About what?
That there wasn't any burglary?
Oh, Never in a million years.
Well, your sister gave us all the details.
Play acting, that's all it was, play acting. She's done it all her life.
Oh, I see.
You mean Miss Dunbetter isn't...
My sister is as sane as you are, if that's what you're driving at.
Well, then why'd she tell us that story, do you know?
Haven't got the vaguest notion. She simply won't give me any explanation.
Oh, I see.
If the story was true, why won't she face me? Why is she hiding?
Hiding?
The minute I told her I was going to call you, she locked herself in the bathroom.
Is that right?
Been in there for 2 hours now. She simply refuses to come out.
Well, we'd like to talk to her if we can.
Yeah, I'll try again. Back to church, I may have some influence.
You think we're getting a runaround, Joe?
Sounds that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Martha? Martha, you come out of there this instant. Martha Dunbetter, do you hear me? The policeman wants to talk to you. Now come out. The police are here.
I won't never come out.
I never heard of such childishness. You see, I'm not able to do a thing with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe if you speak to her, she'll come to her senses.
All right.
Oh, sister carrying on like this. I don't know how I'll ever be able to hold my head up again. It's scandalous.
Miss Dunbetter, this is Sergeant Friday. Miss Dunbetter, will you come out so we can talk to you? Miss Dunbetter?
Well, it's about time. Whatever were you thinking of, Martha? What got into you?
I'm speaking to you, Bessie.
Let's go into the other room. It'll be easier to talk there.
Yes, sir.
Not speaking to me, huh? Well, two can play at that game. And I assure you, I won't be the one who suffers.
All right, ladies, would you like to sit down? Now, Miss Dunbetter, can we clear this thing up now? Your sister says there wasn't any burglary.
Just how would she know she wasn't here, was she?
I know because I know you.
Yeah.
And I know you never had $300 to your name.
I did, too.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get it?
None of your business.
All right, now, how about it, Miss Dunbetter? Did you have $300? Well?
Never said it was exactly 300. Not to the penny.
$3 would be more like it.
There happens to be a few things you don't know about, including my savings.
A likely story. You never saved a penny in your life.
What about my dime?
I shook it the other day.
I'll thank you to keep your hands off my property.
Savings, indeed. If I didn't pay most of the expenses around here, you'd starve to death.
I managed quite well before you moved in on me, Bessie, and I was perfectly happy living alone. Matter of fact, I preferred that arrangement.
But maybe you'd like to try it again.
Maybe I would. I'm sure there'd be money ahead.
Huh.
Don't you hark me, Bessie Maxim. You ought to see the way she eats. Gobble, gobble, gobble. She shovels it down.
Stuff and nonsense. I don't have any more appetite than a bird.
Birds don't nip the cooking, Sherry.
Martha Dunbetter. How can you say such a thing?
Because I know it's true. I'm off the bottle.
Well, whatever I do, I don't fib to the police like some people I could name.
Well, Miss Dunbetter?
I may exaggerate it a speck.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to do no harm?
I wonder if you know it's against the law to file a false police report.
Against the law?
There. You see? You're going to jail. I knew it would happen. I knew that sooner or later you'd disgrace all of us.
Why'd you do it? You must have had a reason, ma'am.
I won't tell you. Not in front of her, I won't.
Oh. Well, now, let's see. Would you mind waiting in the other room for a couple of minutes, Ms. Maxon?
I most certainly would.
We'd appreciate it if you would.
No, very well. Very well. You think I was the criminal around here?
All right, Miss Dunbetter, tell us now, will you?
It's very difficult to explain.
Well, give it a try, will you?
You see, it was all on account of her, Bessie.
Go ahead.
Started when we was little girls. It's because she's older. She's always lording it over me. Mom and Daddy always gave her everything first. Hand-me-downs, it's all I got. Bessie's hand-me-downs.
Oh, I see.
And when we grew up, I couldn't push myself very much. She's just the opposite. There at the ball. She had a pick of all the young gentlemen in town. The only time they'd take me out was when Bessie was busy. I don't think she didn't let me know that I was second choice. The only reason she married Horace because he took a fancy to me. Well, I had my pride, too. Wouldn't settle for her leftovers. That's why I stayed single.
I see.
The least she could have done was name one of her little girls after me. After all, I'm her only sister.
Well, Miss Dunbetter, you still haven't told us why you reported the burglary.
I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
On account of her birthday. Well, that was the last straw. She hasn't talked about anything else for months and months. It's 'cause she's 80 years old, you'd think she was the Queen of Romania. A picture in the paper, people making a fuss about her. Well, I made up my mind that for once in my life someone was going to make a fuss about me.
I see.
To tell you the truth, I'm not a bit sorry I did it. I mean, yes, I should be sorry, but I'm not. I really enjoyed myself. And all those questions you asked me, like I was somebody. My name was in the papers, too. First time it ever happened. It's strange when you come to think about it, to live 79 years without ever seeing your name in print. Oh, but that wasn't the best part.
Ma'am?
The best part was Bessie not being able to horn in and take all the credit. Oh, I knew you'd find me out sooner or later, but I didn't care. I sure had the laugh on her. All the time she's in Oxnard being partied, I was having little parties of my own.
Yeah. Well, you know, you didn't need to put us through all this, Miss Dunbetter. You're almost 80 yourself.
It's over a year away. When you're my age, you can't be sure of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Besides, even when I'm 80, Bessie will still be ahead.
How's that?
She'll be going on 90.
The story you've just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
On May 26th, the hearing was held in the office of Perry Thomas, city attorney. In a moment, the results of that hearing.
Now, here's our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Put a smile in your smoking. Buy Chesterfield. It's the best cigarette ever made, for my money. Smooth, satisfying, mild, and mellow. Believe me, in the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like Chesterfield.
Due to the advanced age of Miss Martha Dunbetter, and because of her assurances that she would never repeat her actions, no charges were filed against her.
Better schools build better communities. Join and work with your fellow citizens who are actively seeking to improve educational conditions.
You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Jack Crucian, Helen Cleve. Script by Frank Burt. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is it, L&M Filters. It stands out from all the rest. Miracle Tip, much more flavor. L&M's got everything. It's the best.
Yes, L&M's got everything. The Miracle Tip is white, pure white, to give you the purest and best filter. And you get a rich, good-tasting, fully satisfying smoke from L&M's highest quality tobaccos. Buy L&M, America's best filter tip cigarette. It's sweeping the country. One man stands between death and 10 people on TV's new dramatic program, Mr. Citizen. See Edward Binns star in the true story, Terror on Jackrabbit Hill. Check your local TV listings for Mr. Citizen. Hear Dragnet next week, same time, same station.
Lux Radio Theater presents Barry Sullivan in Rope of Sand tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. You get a call from an officer in another division. He's come across some information about a robbery. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 18th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith, the boss of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on our way down from the office. It was 10:47 a.m. when we got to the R&I counter. Coke machine.
I don't see him.
No?
It's quite a gadget, huh, Joe?
What?
A machine here. Real piece of work.
Sure is.
Here you are.
Thank you.
You stop and figure, Joe. All the wires in there, levers. Must be a couple hundred wheels.
Yeah. Johnny say why he wanted to see us?
Mm-mm. Yes, sir. There must be 4 or 5 miles of wire in that thing.
Yeah, at least.
Why do you think he did it, Joe?
What?
Invent the machine.
I don't know. Maybe he just likes to invent things.
No, I don't think that's it.
What's your idea?
Well, a guy'd have to spend a lot of time to build something like this. Maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
Figure now a person just has to step up, put a coin in, cup drops down, syrup pours in, seltzer, way it's all measured out. Yeah, a guy'd have to spend a lot of time on that.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sure. Got to be a good reason for thinking it up.
Well, what's your idea?
I don't think you could find a bottle opener.
Yeah, sure.
Joe? Frank.
Hi, John.
Oh, hi, John.
Sorry I'm late. I got a call on my way out.
No trouble. What do you got?
Picked up a kid day before yesterday, carrying a can full of grass.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty rough kid when we tagged him. Wouldn't give us the time of day.
How old is he?
17, just under the line.
Uh-huh.
I got to talking to him last night, started to relax. Guess he knew he was in trouble.
Yeah.
One thing led to another, and the kid ended up talking pretty good.
What'd he give you?
Rumbled about his brother. Got big plans.
Yeah.
And a knock over a loan company.
Captain Powers, Frank, and I left the city hall, drove over to Georgia Street Juvenile. We had the suspects brought to one of the interview rooms.
All right, sit down, Homer. Homer, this is Sergeant Friday and Officer Smith. They want to talk to you. Joe, Frank, it's Homer Rankin.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, son.
What do you want?
Well, I told them what you said about your brother, Homer. They'd like to go over it with you.
That's a lousy deal.
What do you mean by that, son?
Stinks, that's what I mean. What I told you wasn't supposed to be broadcast.
I'm just trying to help you out, kid.
Yeah, where's your shovel? Word leaks I turn fake and the services will be real nice. You're all invited.
Look, boy, you're not going to help yourself acting like this, and you're not going to do your brother any good either.
You tell me all about it, huh?
What are you trying to build, Homer? What do you want?
Leave me alone.
We can't do that, you know it.
Try.
Look, Homer, you're in trouble. Why make it any worse, huh?
You got me for possession, that's all. You ain't going to make any more out of it.
All right, let's go.
Come on, kid.
Where to now? The basement for the rubber hose now?
Going back to your cell.
Good. I didn't sleep good last night. Maybe I can get some sack time.
You better do it while you can.
What's that supposed to mean?
By the time the court gets through with you, you're not going to feel like sleeping, I'm afraid.
What do you do?
Hmm?
Where you work? What's your job around here?
Robbery.
Big guys, huh?
No.
Yeah, I heard about you fellas. Big-time operators. Guess I should feel pretty good you come to see me.
How do you figure that?
Well, you don't waste your time on small-time stuff.
Well, you better take another look.
Huh?
We did this morning. We sent back to Captain Powers' office and got the name and address of the subject's brother. 12:10 p.m. We drove back to City Hall and had the name checked through R&I.
Here you are.
Thanks, Holmes.
It's a fat package.
Well,
Let's see the arrest report.
it's long.
Mm-hmm. Assault, burglary, 211. He's been busy.
Yeah,
You got a 5-2 there?
here it is.
Who's he list as the next of kin?
White, Paula Rankin, 101st Street address.
Better talk to him.
No,
You think the kid told Powers the truth?
I don't know. Maybe just wanted to sound big.
It's possible.
Brother sure fits, though.
Mm-hmm. Guy's been lucky.
What do you mean?
Well, the arrest has never stood a conviction.
Let's see if we can change that. We got a copy of the suspect's mug shot, and we went out to see his wife. She lived in one of the new housing projects on the south side of the city.
Yeah?
Ms. Rankin?
That's right.
Police officers, we'd like to talk to you.
Well, I don't know anything about the marijuana. Kid got it someplace. It's his problem. I got enough of my own.
We'd like to talk to you about your husband.
Tim?
That's right.
Come on in.
Thank you.
Want to sit down?
Thanks. This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Yeah. Now, what's the beef about Tim?
Is he here?
No.
You know where he is?
No, I don't.
When'd you see him last?
A couple of days ago.
Is he out of town?
I don't know. Couldn't care any less.
Do you have any idea where we can get in touch with him?
Listen, mister, if I knew you'd have it, I got nothing to save him from. As far as I'm concerned, he can boil.
That's so?
Yeah. Since the day I met him, I've been carrying the economy side of trouble. Week goes by and he ain't pinched. It's a cause to get arrested for shooting off skyrockets.
Hmm.
Always something. I'm tired of it. And I'm through with him. Never see him again. I ain't going to cry about it.
You got any other relatives in town?
Just the J.D.
Ma'am?
The kid, Homer. It's the only one.
Boy lives here, is that right?
He's got a bed. Don't use it much, like his brother. All the time out trying to get himself hung up. Never seen such a trouble family.
Mm-hmm. Any place your husband might go?
I told you before, if there is, I don't know about it.
Does he have a job?
Tim?
Yes, ma'am.
Honey, if you got paid for goofing, Tim could retire. Only thing wrong is he ain't got nothing to retire from.
He doesn't have a job.
That's the general idea, yeah.
Where's he spend his time?
Ain't around here.
Well, where, do you know?
I don't know. Guess it'd be the hot dog stand. A couple of times when I needed some money, I caught up with him there.
Where's the place?
Down on 114th, a couple of blocks over. You can't miss it. One of those all-night places.
Your husband have any close friends?
And what do you mean, close?
Well, people he spend time with.
Yeah, a couple of guys fit that.
You know their names?
No.
You ever seen them?
Yeah. One of them was here once. I saw him.
Can you give us a name?
No, I don't remember. Me and Tim had a beef about it. I came home and found him and this bum crocked on beer. Had a beef about it and ended up with both of them leaving.
Can you describe the man for us?
He's a man. Got a head, 2 arms, 2 legs.
That's all you can tell us?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Don't worry about it. It's free.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to leave you a card. If you hear from your husband, we'd appreciate a call.
Sure. Well, don't hold your breath. It isn't likely he'll come back this time.
All right.
Can you tell me what it's about?
It's a police matter. It'd be better if we talked to him personally.
Can I get you anything? Drink, maybe?
No, thanks.
No, thanks.
Too bad. Sometime when you're in the neighborhood, you know, not working, stop in. I'll pour you a drink.
Yeah, sure.
No, I mean it. Girl gets lonely just sitting by herself. The company'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're not married, are you?
No, ma'am.
That's nice. You drop by now. Anytime.
You bet. Thanks again.
Goodbye, Miss Rankin.
Bye.
Hey, Joe.
Just do me a favor, will you?
Well, sure, old buddy. What is it?
Be quiet. We checked with the neighbors, and they verified Ms. Rankin's story about her husband's absence. None of them were able to tell us where he might have gone. Other than saying that the Rankins fought constantly, they were not able to give us any new information. 2:15 p.m. We drove down to the hot dog stand on 114th. There was no one at the counter who looked like the suspect, Tim Rankin.
Yeah, what'll it be?
Cup of coffee?
Okay, how about you?
Number 6, I guess. You make that with cheddar cheese?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have one of those. Glass of milk, too.
Sure. Want your coffee now?
Please.
Hot.
That's good. That's the way we like it.
Oh, not the coffee, the sun.
Oh, yeah.
And the paper says there's 91 Pacific Center.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we should be doing more business than we are. I don't understand it, though.
Is that right?
Hey, you know, cold drinks. Hot day people all the time drinking something cold.
Yeah.
No offense.
Well, that's all right.
Malamute, be ready right away.
Huh?
That's what the number 6 is, Malamute.
Oh.
You seen Tim Rankin around this morning?
Yeah, he was in about 10. You guys friends of his?
We'd like to talk to him.
We came in, had a cup of coffee with Shelley. 2 of them left, I guess, about 10:30.
Who was he with, you know?
Shelley, you know, Shelley Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Big buddies all the time together.
You know where they went?
No, I don't know. Maybe over Shelley's.
You live around here?
Yeah, he's got a pad a couple blocks over. Hey, your dog will be ready.
You know the address of that place?
Mm-mm. I've never been there. Heard the two of them talk about it, though.
This guy Mitchell work?
No, I don't think either one of them do.
Mm-hmm.
Want to leave your names? Guys come back, I'll tell them you're here.
Well, it'd be better if you didn't say anything about it.
Why not?
We're police officers.
Both of you?
That's right.
Sure never guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
Cops. Never would have known. You look just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
What are you after Tim and Shelley for? I bet it's a loan company job, huh? Huh? Is that it?
What do you know about it?
Oh, look, mister, I didn't have any part in the action. I just heard them talking.
That's all?
Yeah, gospel. I didn't even think they were serious. If I'd known they meant it, I'd have called the cops myself. I don't want to get mixed up in nothing like that. Not me. I ain't about to put my neck out.
What'd they say about the job?
Oh, just they're going to pull it. All the time I thought they were kidding, talking big. I sure never figured they'd really do it.
What's the name of the company?
Huh?
That place they talked about, what's the name of it?
Timely Loan Company over on Western.
They say when they were going to make it?
I talked about Monday afternoon. I guess they decided not to wait, though, huh?
Yeah. Either one of them drive a car, do you know?
Yeah, Shelley does. I don't think it's his, though.
You ever seen it?
Yeah, a couple times he's had it there.
What kind of a car is it?
Pontiac, 4-door.
Happen to know the license number?
No, sorry, fellas never paid much attention to it.
Either one of them say when they'd be back?
No, it could be any time. They come and go.
You know if this Mitchell's ever been arrested?
I can't give you an answer. Never heard him talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when they hit the place.
What?
When they robbed the loan company. I never read nothing about it.
Papers haven't got it yet.
Anybody hurt?
Why do you ask that?
Oh, figures, that's all.
Yeah?
Sure, I know one thing for sure. I wouldn't want to get in Shelley's way. The leg don't slow him down a bit.
What do you mean?
He's got a wooden leg, you know. Here, the right one. Told me once he got wounded in the war.
Is that right?
He still walks with a little limp, like this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him tangle with a guy once, happened in the alley out and back.
Yeah?
He almost knocked the fella's head right off his shoulders. Real punch.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's why I asked if anybody had been hurt. Shelley being like he is.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess he wouldn't hit anybody. Be no need for it.
What do you mean?
Well, he just wouldn't have to, that's all.
Yeah.
Both of them got guns.
Frank and I arranged for a stakeout on the hot dog stand, then we went back to City Hall and ran the name Shelley Mitchell and his description through R&I. We came up with a possible that looked good. The mugshot was pulled and shown to the owner of the hot dog stand. He gave a positive identification. We contacted Army authorities and requested what information they could give us. Yes, sir, huh? When was it? I see. You have those numbers? Right. No, I haven't. All right, Lieutenant, thanks again. Friday. Michigan 5211. Extension 2511. No, it's 25. Right? Okay, many thanks.
How about it?
Looks good. He was given a dishonorable discharge.
For what?
Theft. Spent a couple of months in the stockade, and then the Army kicked him out.
Yeah.
They'd like to talk to him again, though.
Well, how come?
Well, according to the lieutenant, it seems after he left, they got to check, and he didn't leave alone.
What do you mean?
Took 345 automatics with him. An immediate check was made at the last place listed in Mitchell's package, but he'd moved and left no forwarding address. Additional officers began to canvass the area where he was supposed to be living. Local broadcasts and APVs were gotten out on both suspects, and a stakeout was set up on Tim Rankin's home. That afternoon, we met with Captain Donahoe, and it was decided to put a stakeout on the loan company. 4:50 p.m. Frank and I were leaving the office to make the necessary arrangements.
You got the mug?
Yeah, we better get on it right away.
Yeah.
Hot shot. We missed it.
Huh?
Timely Loan Company.
Yeah?
Was just held up. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the Timely Loan Company on Western Avenue. By the time we got there, a radio card answered the call, and the officers were checking the neighborhood. A broadcast had already been gotten out carrying their description. Frank and I talked with the manager, a Mr. Richard Conover. Is there anything we can do for you, sir?
No.
Why don't you take a look at some pictures and see if you can recognize the holdup man?
I have to?
Well, it'll help us.
All right.
Here they are, sir.
No, they're not here.
You sure?
I looked at them. You haven't got a picture.
Would you mind going through them again?
I'll be honest with you. I'd like to see you get the two men, but the money's insured. I'm not going to put my family on the block for it.
I don't think I understand.
It's just that I believe them, that's all.
What do you mean?
On the way out, they told me. Said if I helped the police, they'd find out and make me sorry for it.
Yeah.
Said they'd get my family.
We went over the description Conover had given the uniformed men. It could have fit almost anyone. The crime lab came out and went over the offices of the loan company. They found nothing that would aid us. The people in the immediate vicinity were interviewed. None of them were able to give us a good description of the suspects. The victim, Richard Conover, was taken to the city hall where Frank and I talked to him for over an hour. 8:14 p.m.
Mr. Conover, we need your help. If we don't have it, our job's going to be 5 times as hard.
I have told you I'm not going to put my family in jeopardy.
Well, now, look, we'll put a policeman in your house. He'll be there 24 hours a day until we come up with the thieves.
There'll be an officer with your children. Nobody's going to get near him.
That's ridiculous.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to subject them to that kind of supervision.
Well, then maybe you better take another look, Mr. Conover. There are 2 men in this city who've held you up. They've made threats on your life. Now, we don't blame you for being concerned, but this isn't going to help. Unless you go along with us, our hands are tied. There isn't anything we can do. And you've got no reason to believe that these men aren't going to try to get at you, even if you don't talk. You're the only one who can identify them. Pretty soon they're going to think about that, and then we won't be able to stop them. You and your family are in trouble now, whether you talk to us or not.
All right, I'll tell you.
The suspects were positively identified as Timothy Rankin and Shelley Mitchell. Additional bulletins were gotten out on the 2 men, and the search for them was intensified. Officers were dispatched to Conover's home in the event that the 2 thieves tried to make good their threat. Rankin's brother was re-questioned at Georgia Street Juvenile, but either he couldn't or else he wouldn't aid us in apprehending the suspect. 11:30 that night, Frank and I were ready to leave the office.
You sign the log?
Yeah, let's go. I got it. Robbery Friday. Hello? Robbery Friday. Oh, yeah, Benson. Wait a minute. Give me that again, will you? You're right out. Benson and Stromwell.
Yeah?
They found the suspect. In canvassing the area around the hot dog stand, officers Benson, Stromwell, and Herman had checked a hotel. When the clerk was shown pictures of the suspects, he said the 2 men who looked like the pictures were staying in the place. However, when the rooms were checked at the suggestion of the manager, Rankin and Mitchell were not there. They staked out the room and we were called. When Frank and I arrived, we took up our positions in the room while the other officers covered the entrances to the hotel. 4:15 a.m. We waited.
What time you got?
Wait a minute. Not hard to see without a light. 4:30.
Well, the hats did a good job.
Yeah, like finding a needle.
Mm-hmm. You heard how Herman's coming with the books?
I was talking to him the other day. Said he doesn't think he's ever going to make a lawyer.
I guess it's rough with the hours he's got.
Yeah, it works out, though.
What do you mean?
He told me that when he and Stromwell got a stakeout together, they'd ask each other questions. You know, try to study that way.
Yeah, that's a hard way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Holder, right there.
I'm doing like you say. I'm not going to cause no trouble.
Turn around. Face the wall.
Yes, sir. Just like
Come
you
on,
say.
move.
Hands up on the wall.
Yes, sir. I'm doing it just like you said. I'm not rough.
Got it. Here you are, Joe.
Where'd you get this gun, Rankin?
Shelley gave it to me. That's the truth, honest, mister. I got it from Shelley.
All right, put your hands behind you.
Yes, sir. Right behind me.
All right, you can turn around now.
Don't shoot, mister. Huh? Please don't shoot.
Turn around.
Yes, sir.
Where's Mitchell?
I don't know.
Oh, come off it. Now, where is he?
Well, I don't know, mister. That's the truth. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Well, look, if I did, I'd tell you. Honest, I would.
When'd you see him last?
A couple hours ago.
Where?
A coffee place on Vermont, sir.
Is he still there?
I don't know.
What was he doing?
He was talking to another fellow.
Who?
A guy named Randolph Bennett, sir. I'm not sure that's his real name, though.
Is he coming back?
No, sir. He doesn't live here.
Clerk says he does.
Well, who are you talking about?
Mitchell.
Oh, I meant Bennett. He doesn't live here. Mitchell does, but Bennett doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Now, how about an answer?
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mitchell, is he coming back?
Well, I don't think so.
Why do you say that?
Well, we had a fight. I don't think he'll be back, sir.
What'd you fight about?
Well, it's something he wanted me to do. I didn't want any part of it.
What was it?
Well, he said if I didn't go along with him and Bennett, they'd kill me, and I didn't like the deal.
What deal?
Well, him and Bennett, they got a caper planned. I was supposed to go with them, but I didn't want to, sir. Honest, that's the truth. I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
You see, I was supposed to steal a car for him to use, and the more I thought about it, I didn't want to get in any more trouble than I am now.
The two of you hit the loan company this afternoon?
Yeah, that's right, sir.
This fellow Bennett, he was with you?
No, sir. We met him tonight. Him and Shelley planned this other deal. They wanted me to go with them, but I didn't want to. Honest, that's the God's truth, sir. I didn't want to. That's why we had this fight.
Well, what's the deal?
Well, they figured to start out about 9 in the morning. Shelley's got it all figured. They say they can hit about 8 places, and the two of them are going to leave town.
What are you talking about?
Well, this deal, they're going to rob some loan companies.
What about this fellow Bennett? You know him?
No, sir. He's a friend of Shelley's. They've known each other, though, for a long time.
Where's he from?
Oh, back east someplace. I'm not sure where. I just know the cops are after him, though.
Why?
Well, he broke out of jail while he was waiting to be tried.
What was the charge?
Kidnapping and murder.
We left the hotel room and picked up the other officers. We had Tim Rankin point out the coffee stand where he'd last seen Shelley Mitchell. And then we called a radio car and turned Rankin over to the uniformed men. While Benson, Stromwell, and Herman covered the rear entrance of the place, Frank and I went in the front door.
There you are, Joe. Halfway down.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, I should have known that guy's always hot bait when it comes to doing something back down.
A lot of fun kids around here.
We don't have to take... Yeah? You guys got a license to listen?
Shelley Mitchell?
Come on, get up. You okay, Joe?
Yeah. What about Bennett?
He's all right.
Lousy cops. Lousy, rotten cops.
Turn around. Give me your cuffs, will you, Joe?
Here.
Come on, turn around. I'll take care of Bennett.
All right, Mitchell, turn around.
All a stick of deals.
All right, come on, move.
How'd you get to me?
Don't you worry about that.
Rottenest, lousiest deal I ever heard of.
Where'd you get this gun?
I bought it.
From the government, huh?
Well, that's none of your business.
All right, we'll go your way.
Lousy 12 hours. 12 more hours you'd have missed us. This afternoon we'd have been on the way. You'd have never found us.
Yeah, you really believe that, don't you?
Oh, sure. We'd have gotten a start. You'd have been dead. Looking all around. Never found us.
Yeah, just like now.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On September 16th, trial was held in Department 92, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Homer Norman Rankin was referred to juvenile court and after a hearing was made a ward of the state. Timothy Alfred Rankin and Shelley Vincent Mitchell were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Randolph Bennett, alias James Virgil Nicholson, was held for New Jersey authorities to answer charges of murder, kidnapping, and escape. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Put a smile in your smoking.
By Chesterfield. Smoother. Cooler. Best for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. The owner of a small delicatessen reports that he's been robbed.
He says the thief casually walked out of his store and disappeared. Your job? Find him.
Put a smile in your smoking.
Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember this. In the whole wide world, no cigarette satisfies like Chesterfield.
Put a smile in your smoking.
Instantly, you'll smile your approval of Chesterfield's smoothness.
So smooth, so satisfying.
You want them mild. We make them mild. Mild and mellow, with the smooth and refreshing taste of the right combination of the world's best tobaccos. So next time you buy cigarettes,
Stop. Start smoking with a smile with Chesterfield. Smiling all the while with Chesterfield. Put a smile in your smoking, just give them a try. Light up a Chesterfield, they satisfy.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Sunday, October 9th. It was overcast in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications. It was 3:48 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery. I got it. Robbery, Friday. Yeah, just a second. Give me that pad, man.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, please. All right, I have it. What happened? How long ago? All right. Right away. Thank you. Guy came into a delicatessen over on Sunset. Took out a pretty big order.
Yeah?
Sack full of money. 4:15 p.m. Frank and I drove out to a small combination delicatessen and grocery on the corner of Sunset and 3rd. The owner of the store, Mr. Paul Claypool, told us that the robbery had taken place approximately 20 minutes earlier. He said that the patrol car officer who had answered his call had left to make an immediate search for the suspect.
Gave a real good description, I did.
Yes, sir, you said that.
Kept my wits about me. All the time that young hoodlum was in the store, I was studying him. Didn't let him catch on, of course, but I was making mental notes.
I wonder if you'd tell us just what happened, Mr. Claypool.
How's that?
Well, we'd like to hear about the robbery right from the beginning.
Oh, checking up on me, huh?
Sir?
Making sure I give you the same story I gave that other cop.
Oh, no, sir, that's not the idea.
I told him everything there was to tell.
Well, we'd like to hear it, too, that's all.
You ain't going to hear nothing different from what he did.
But would you tell us anyway?
Well, if that's how you want it. This here cook fella came walking into my store, big as life. That's how it begun.
Mm-hmm.
That was about 20 minutes ago, was it?
Oh, might be 21 or 2, but now depends on how long you've been talking to me.
Yes, sir.
What did he say when he came in?
Bandit fella?
That's right.
Nothing.
What?
Nothing. That's what he said. Not a single solitary word.
I see.
Didn't even open his mouth. Just handed me an envelope.
Yeah?
Sealed it was. Sealed up shut.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Struck me as being kind of peculiar.
What do you mean?
Well, lots of my customers bring in lists of things they're supposed to buy. They don't seal them in no envelope, though.
I see.
My instinct sure was right. It wasn't no grocery list. It was far from it.
Is that so?
Note inside. Hand-printed it was.
I see.
Wonder what it said?
Well, that would be nice, yes, sir.
Take all of the money out of the cash register, put it in a paper bag, and hand it over.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't all. You want to hear the rest?
If you would, please.
Don't do any talking. Don't try to stop me. If you do, I'll kill you. That was the end of it.
Do you still have this note, Mr. Claypool?
Right over there. It's laying on the register.
Wonder if we could see it, please.
Well, that's up to you, I guess. Other cop said I wasn't to handle it on account of fingerprints.
Well, we'll try to be careful with it.
Help yourself. Ain't my place to take no chances on destroying valuable evidence.
Yes, sir.
Well, had it right, didn't it? Word for word?
Yes, sir, you sure did.
After you read this note, what'd you do, Mr. Claypool?
I done just what it said.
You gave him the money from the register?
That's right. Put in a paper bag in number 8.
What's that, sir?
8. That was the size of the bag.
Oh. How much money did you give him?
All there was, a neighborhood of $50.
Most of it in bills?
Most, I'd say. A couple of 10s, 3 or 4 5s, some 1s. Rest was change.
All right. What happened next?
Fella took the bag, kind of grinned, and walked out. Looked real pleased with himself.
Did you see where he went?
Left the store.
Yes, sir. I mean, after that.
Turned down the street.
To get into a car?
I didn't see none.
You didn't try to follow him?
Nope. I didn't aim to stick out my neck none. Figured that was up to you fellows.
That's right.
Now, Mr. Claypool, do you know if the robber had a gun?
Must have.
Did you see it?
Nope. But that there note said he'd kill me if I gave him any trouble.
Yes, sir.
Must have had a gun if he aimed to kill me. Well, stands to reason.
Yes, sir. Was there anybody else in here when he came in?
Just me. I don't do much business this time of the afternoon, and not on Sunday. I don't.
Had you ever seen this man before?
Nope, not that I recollect.
I wonder if you could describe him for us.
Oh, sure. I told you I gave him a real good once-over.
Yes, sir.
First off, he's a young fellow, right around 20, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Husky, about 5'10", maybe weighs 170. Not fat, you understand. He's just husky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about his coloring?
Well, I'm coming to that.
Yes, sir.
Brown hair, medium brown. Kind of gray eyes, medium complexion.
Any marks or scars?
No.
How was he dressed?
Pants, dark-colored, serge, more than likely. Blue serge. They looked like they was part of a suit.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't see his shirt. He had on a sweater, yellowish with one of them collars that chokes you.
What's that?
Fits all around your neck, you see, like so. See?
Turtleneck sweater?
Oh, is that what you call it?
Yes, sir.
Turtleneck, huh? Well, that's a right good name. That's just what it looks like. Turtle poking out his neck.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else you can tell us about this man?
What have you got in mind?
Well, Mr. Claypool, anything that would help us identify him.
Well, sir, he acted real funny, almost like he didn't know what he was doing.
Oh?
Kind of looked at me funny, too. Don't know how to put it into words exactly.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you come down to City Hall for a few minutes, Mr. Claypool?
City Hall?
Yes, sir. We'd like to show you some mug shots, see if you can make an identification for us.
Well, that'd mean closing up the store.
Well, it won't take very long.
Well, I guess it will help catch this fellow.
We'd appreciate it.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Claypool's delicatessen. How's that? Who? Friday?
That's for us, sir.
Oh. Huh. Here you are.
Thank you. This Friday. Yeah, that's right. How long ago? Fountain? Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Well, we won't need you downtown just yet, Mr. Claypool.
Change your mind, huh?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Flower shop over on Fountain.
Yeah.
Sounds like the same guy. Frank and I told Mr. Claypool we'd check with him later. We left the delicatessen and drove out to the Pringer Flora shop on Fountain and Selma. 4:42 p.m., we talked to the victim, Miss Norma Devereaux. She seemed to be extremely agitated. She told us that a man had walked into the store about 4:30 and gave her a sealed envelope. She showed us the note the envelope had contained, and it appeared to be a duplicate of the note Mr. Claypool had been given.
Did this man say anything to you, Miss Devereaux?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Well, did you say anything to him?
Oh, I was too scared.
Yes, ma'am.
How much money did he take?
Well, I gave him all there was, everything in the register.
I see, but about how much would you say?
I'm not sure. You see, I don't work here. I was just helping out.
Mm-hmm.
The store belongs to my sister and brother-in-law.
I see.
They wanted to take their children for a ride this afternoon, so I said I'd look after the shop.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I never should have offered. I might have known something like this would happen. I've had a funny feeling all day long.
Is that right?
It's a bad week for me anyway, this whole week.
Huh?
According to my horoscope.
Oh.
And you don't have any idea how much money was stolen, Miss Devereaux?
Well, I don't think it was very much. A few bills and some coins.
Mm-hmm.
Do you happen to know what day this is? The date, I mean?
Yes, ma'am. This is the 9th.
The 9th. Oh, I might have known. She said to be especially careful on the 9th and the 11th. Why didn't I pay more attention to that last reading? It certainly cost me enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Miss Devereaux, you notice where this man went when he left the shop?
What?
Did you notice where he went?
Oh, no. I didn't pay any attention. I was just so relieved that he was gone.
Why don't you describe him for us, please?
Well...
Miss Devereaux?
I'm trying to think.
Yes, ma'am.
It just comes up a blank. His face, everything about him.
Well, how's he dressed?
I'm terribly sorry. I just can't remember.
Well, maybe we can help you. Was he wearing a coat or a sweater?
That's right. A sweater. I remember the sweater.
Mm-hmm. What color was it?
Lightish, I think. I'm not sure.
What kind of a sweater? Would you recall that?
Just a sweater, I guess.
How about his hair? Eyes? Anything at all, Miss Devereaux?
Well, there's one thing. I don't know whether it would do any good or not.
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like such a fool not being able to remember where it was or when, but I'm almost certain about it.
What's that?
That I've seen him before.
Frank and I continued to question the victim. She insisted that she had met or seen the suspect sometime before the crime, but she was unable to recall the circumstances. 5:38 p.m., we drove both victims down to the city hall and asked them to go through the mug books for the purpose of identifying the suspect.
We finished another book, Sergeant.
Yes, ma'am.
Seems like you sure have enough of them.
Yes, sir.
If I could only think where it was.
Ma'am?
But I saw him before.
Yes.
Can I get you folks some coffee?
That sounds like a right good idea.
How about you, miss?
What?
Would you like some coffee, too? Miss Devereaux.
That's it. That's it. I remember now. His face, everything about him. It's the same man. I'm positive it is.
Oh?
It was when you mentioned coffee. That's what brought it back to me.
Yes, ma'am. Now, just when was it you saw this man?
Oh, let's see. It was last week when I went shopping for a new coat. Tuesday. Yes, that's when it was. Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I was having lunch. The Fairway Cafeteria in Hollywood.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it was crowded, and I was sitting alone. He came by and asked if he could use the same table.
All right, go ahead.
I nodded, and he sat down. I didn't pay any attention to him. Not really. I just went on and finished my lunch. He was still eating when I left.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you can tell us about him?
I think he had on the same clothes he was wearing today, the sweater anyway. I remember the sweater, real plain now.
I see. Are you sure this was the same man who robbed you?
Oh, yes, I know it was.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help, won't it? My remembering where I saw him?
Well, it might.
I'll bet he eats there all the time, at that same cafeteria.
Yes, ma'am. We'll check on that.
Oh, he does. I just feel certain of it. You'll see, Sergeant. It was fate that made me go into that restaurant, and it was fate that made him sit at my table.
Yes, ma'am.
It was all part of a big plan. Our meeting like that, and then him robbing me today. It was all part of a big plan so that you could catch him.
Yes, that's right.
And you will catch him. Don't you worry about that. You'll catch him. Fate's against him.
Well, that makes us even then, doesn't it?
What?
So are we. Now that she remembered seeing the suspect before, Miss Devereaux confirmed Paul Claypool's description. We asked the victims to continue going through the mug books. They were unable to come up with an identification. 6:31 p.m., Frank and I drove them home, and we went off duty. The next day, October 10th, 10:05 a.m., we interviewed the day cashiers at the Fairway Cafeteria. They couldn't recall any specific customer who answered the suspect's description. 11:46 a.m., we went back to the office. Robbery Friday. Yeah, Larry. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks anyway. Right. Sloan.
Yeah?
Says he can't give us a lead from the way those notes were printed.
Oh?
Well, how about an early lunch today? Huh?
It's all right with me.
Where do you want to go?
Well, I don't care. How about you?
Doesn't make any difference to me.
Well, suggest someplace.
No, I told you it doesn't make any difference.
Well, I don't know why it always has to be up to me, Joe.
Hmm?
Where we eat. Why don't you decide once in a while?
All right, fine. Let's go to that new Chinese place on Broadway.
For lunch?
Well, why not?
Well, you don't want Chinese food for lunch, Joe.
I don't.
Of course not.
Well, what do you got in mind?
I don't know.
Hmm?
I'd end up making the choice.
Sure is a problem, isn't it?
Well, it gets kind of monotonous, that's all, buddy.
Yeah, it's tough.
Say,
Yeah, something we can do for you?
is this here where you the guys that handle robberies?
Yeah, that's right.
Like them two yesterday?
Which two?
Grocery store and flower shop.
You know something about them, do you?
Yeah, I know something.
Well, just what is it?
Who robbed them? I know who it was.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was me.
Put a smile in your smoking. Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember this. It's today's biggest cigarette news.
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
The Accuray controller is the greatest improvement in cigarette making in years, and it's a Chesterfield exclusive. This amazing quality detective electronically checks and controls the making of your Chesterfield, giving a uniformity and smoking quality never possible before. So buy Chesterfield today. For the first time, you get a perfect smoke column from end to end.
A perfect smoke column from end to end.
From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes smoother. From the first puff to the last puff, your Chesterfield smokes cooler.
From the first puff to the last puff, Chesterfield is best for you.
Next time you buy cigarettes, stop. Remember,
Chesterfield is made the modern way with Accuray.
Put a smile in your smoking, just give 'em a try. light up a Chesterfield, they satisfy.
The man who had come into the office answered the description we'd received from the victims. He was in his early 20s, stocky build, about 5'10", brown hair and gray eyes. He was wearing dark blue trousers and a yellow turtleneck sweater. He told us that his name was Harvey Tilden and that he lived in a rooming house on West Ivar. He readily admitted the 2 robberies, but he insisted he had not meant to commit the crimes.
I didn't know what I was doing, that's all. I just didn't know.
Well, what are you trying to sell us? Were you drunk?
Of course not. I hadn't had a drink, not even a beer.
Well?
Well, he told me it was money they owed, that I was collecting it for him.
Who told you that?
Stoney.
Who's Stoney?
Well, that's all I know him by, Stoney.
And you were collecting money for him, is that it?
Uh-huh.
And you expect us to buy that, too, don't you?
No, I guess not.
Well, then why don't you try giving us the truth?
Well, look, now, may I'm not the brightest guy in the world. If I was, I wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah.
I come to you of my own accord, didn't I?
Well, maybe you got scared. Maybe you figured it'd go easier with you if you gave yourself up. Isn't that it?
Yeah, I guess I can't blame you for thinking that. Sure was a dumb trick.
Well, why'd you do it then?
Because I didn't know. Because he told me it was just a job I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Stoney told you.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's hear it your way.
Yeah, well, he said he worked for a kind of collection agency, you know, where they go after them deadbeats, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he said he had to have somebody to help him, only part-time, but the pay would be good.
Yeah.
Offered me the work.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't had a steady job lately. Sound kind of good to me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to meet him yesterday afternoon, 3 o'clock. He picked me up in front of the place where I live.
Yeah?
Drove me past that grocery store. Parked around the corner. Gave me an envelope, and he told me to take it inside, hand it to a fellow who worked there. He said I was to make sure nobody else was in the store on account of he didn't want to make the old guy feel bad by collecting the debt in front of somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
So I done what he told me. I give the old guy the note. He give me the money, and I took it back to Stoney.
Well, where was he while you were in the store?
Well, around the corner, like I said.
Why didn't he go in with you?
He wanted to see if I could handle it myself. On my own, you know. That's what he told me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we drove over to that there flower place.
Same routine.
Yeah, only this time I got kind of suspicious, you know.
Yeah.
She acted so scared, the lady there. It didn't seem to me that having to pay up a debt would make somebody so scared. I told Stoney afterwards. He said it was just an act that they all put on like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I didn't exactly believe him, so next place we stopped, I opened up the envelope before I went inside, and I read that there note.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know what to do. Finally, I went back to the car, and I really told him off, Stoney. I told him I wasn't no thief. I told him he had to return all that money.
What did he say?
He just laughed at me. He said I was the biggest pigeon he ever met. I said if he didn't take back the dough, I'd go to the cops. He told me you'd throw me in jail, that you'd never believe a word I told you.
Mm-hmm. What happened then?
I got out of the car. I said I wasn't no crook and nobody was going to make me be one.
Mm-hmm.
I was heading right for the police station. Then I got to thinking. I seemed like maybe he was right, that nobody would believe a story like this.
Yeah.
So I went home.
All right, why'd you come in today?
Well, I didn't sleep none too good last night. It was kind of worrying me what I'd done. I figured maybe he'd find some other sucker like me and pull that same stunt over again. I didn't want him to get away with it, so I decided to take my chances on you guys. I'm going to get a short count now, am I?
You know where the Stoney lives?
No, he never said, not to me.
And you don't know his last name either?
Uh-uh.
Well, where'd you meet him?
Hentley's gym. Or on Olympic. I hang out there sometimes.
You a fighter?
Oh, I had some bouts, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how'd you and Stoney get acquainted?
Oh, I don't know. We just started talking one day last week. He come in for a steam bath, and afterwards we were both watching some of the guys work out.
I see.
He was there again on Saturday. That's when he offered me this job.
Mm-hmm. What kind of a car does he drive?
Chevy.
Sedan?
No, coupe, hardtop, last year's model.
You know the license?
No, I don't pay no attention.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't matter if it did. I ain't much at remembering things.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what Stoney looks like?
Yeah, why, he's a big fella, sharp dresser.
How old is he?
35, maybe 40.
Mm-hmm. What color's his hair?
Sort of red.
Anything else? Scars, anything like that?
No.
That's the whole story, huh?
Yeah.
You didn't know you were robbing those stores? You didn't have any idea?
Honest, I didn't. Sounds crazy, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
Joe, talk to you for a minute.
Yeah. You wait right there, Tilden.
Yeah, okay.
You must think we're pretty done, expecting us to fall for a line like that.
Yeah.
What's he take us for?
I don't know.
Couldn't be true, not a word of it.
Yeah.
Heck of it is.
Yeah.
Such a darn fool story, Joe. I just can't help believing it.
Well, move over. So do I. Frank and I continued to interrogate the suspect. He maintained his innocence, and we were unable to shake him. We ran the name Harvey Tilden through R&I. They had nothing on him. We also ran the name Stoney through the moniker file, and we came up with two possibles. We pulled the mug shots and showed them to Tilden. He tentatively identified one of the photos, James Brightstone, but he wasn't positive. We telephoned Brightstone's last known address, a small downtown hotel. They told us he'd moved during the summer, and they had no idea of his present whereabouts. We checked DMV and our own vehicle records. They reported that a late model Chevrolet was registered in Brightstone's name. Harvey Tilden was held in custody for further questioning. 4:08 p.m. Frank and I drove over to Hentley's gym on South Olympic and talked to the owner, George Hentley.
What's right? I'm it.
Stoney, huh? Yeah, that's right. Full name maybe James Brightstone. We're not sure.
Now move away.
Don't ring a bell. He in a fight game?
Well, we aren't sure.
How about a Harvey Tilden? You know him?
That jerk? Sure, I know.
He come here pretty often?
Off and on. Used to do a little boxing. Had a perfect record. 6 fights, 6 KOs. He was punchy before he ever got in a ring.
Tilden says this is where he met this Stoney.
Yeah, it could be.
Take a look at this picture, will you? You ever seen this guy before?
Hey, you got a left hand, use it.
Well?
I wouldn't swear to it. Guy looks something like this. Been coming in lately. Works out, takes a steam bath.
You know his name?
I never asked.
You been around today?
No, not so far.
When was the last time, do you remember?
End of last week, Friday, Saturday.
You talking to Tilden?
Oh, I don't know, maybe. Guys come in here, friendly type guys. They all talk to each other.
All right, here's our card.
So?
This fella comes back, give us a call, will you?
Hey, you want him for something?
We want to talk to him.
Okay, if he comes in, I'll call you.
Thanks.
Sure, I'm a real obliging type fella. I got no beef with you cops. Be a waste of time, though. Calling you. If you want to see this guy, all you got to do is turn around.
What's that?
He just walked in the door.
Frank and I talked to the man George Hentley had pointed out. He readily admitted that he was James Brightstone. He also admitted knowing Harvey Tilden. He said he had spent the previous afternoon in his room at the Jackman Hotel. We telephoned the hotel, but the clerk was unable to confirm Brightstone's alibi. 5:31 p.m. We drove the suspect down to the city hall and continued our interrogation.
Look, why don't you guys just tell me what it is you want to know, spell it out in real big letters, and I'll give you the answer, same size.
Where were you yesterday afternoon?
Thought we already covered that.
Let's go over it again.
Okay, boys, I was in my hotel room.
Well, the clerk doesn't back you up.
Well, does he say I wasn't there?
When was the last time you saw Harvey Tilden?
Saturday over at the gym.
Not yesterday, huh?
Gym isn't open on Sundays.
You know where Tilden lives?
Nope.
You picked him up at his rooming house yesterday, didn't you?
Why would I be picking a crumb up like that?
Did you offer Tilden a job?
Oh, that's pretty funny.
What's the joke?
I ain't got a job myself.
Did you ever take Tilden for a drive?
Boys, I'm telling you, the only place I ever seen the guy is Hentley's gym.
Yeah. He knows what kind of a car you got.
Oh?
Make and model.
Well, maybe he's seen me in it. I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, this Tilden fellow, he's a screwball. He don't even know what time it is. Whatever he told you, you can forget it.
Well, there are a couple of things we can't forget.
Yeah?
Tilden says you put him up to robbing 2 stores yesterday.
Are you kidding?
He says you hired him to work for you, to collect some past due bills.
Boy, this kid is really off his rocker, isn't he?
Maybe.
Where was I supposed to be while he was doing me these favors?
Outside in your car, waiting for him.
Go on, boys. You interest me.
Well, that's about it.
And you'd pick up a guy in a phony story like that? Hey, look, I'm getting out of here. Tilden ain't the only guy who's nuts.
Sit down, Brightstone.
All right, you jokers, prove any part of it.
We're going to try to.
I'd like to know how.
We got a team out right now checking the neighborhood of both robberies. If anybody saw your car around those stores yesterday afternoon, you got trouble.
I got news for you guys. It don't matter where I was yesterday. You can't tie me into these jobs.
We'll see.
Matter of fact, I'll give you a hand. I might have been driving around those stores yesterday.
Is that right?
Yeah, come to think of it, I went for a ride along about 2 o'clock. Slipped my mind before.
Sure.
Not that I know where Tilden pulled his heist.
You don't, huh?
Sure, of course not.
Then what makes you think you were in the vicinity?
Well, I'm not saying I was. I'm saying I might have been.
Yeah.
Just where were you?
Who knows? It took me a real long drive.
What time did you leave your hotel?
2 o'clock, maybe.
What time did you get back?
Later.
How much later?
All right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you guys a break.
Good.
Now, I know you can keep this up for 72 hours, and I got more important things to do, so let's get it over with, okay?
That's entirely up to you.
Okay. Tilden was giving it to you square. He was just a pigeon. Dumbest pigeon I ever ran into.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's it. You got it now. What are you going to do about it?
What do you think?
Oh, if you're smart, you're going to turn me loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look, let me give you a little advice. Free. So Tilden was a fall guy, all right? I admit it to you guys.
Yeah.
But to nobody else. Anybody else asks me, I deny it, the whole thing. So you might as well play smart. You figure on sticking me with this rap, you got to have a signed confession. I ain't going to give it to you.
Well, now maybe we won't need it.
Boy, you got the biggest rocks in your head. Tilden was in those stores, I wasn't. He took the money, I didn't. You go into court, you come out looking dumber than he does.
Mm-hmm.
It's my word against his. You think anybody in their right mind is going to believe this boy? You think he'd stand a chance of convincing the jury?
Well, he might.
Fat chance.
He convinced us.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 8th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
The date, June 19th. The man in question, Father. The gift for Father's Day, Chesterfield. Make it a point to pick up a couple of cartons, first chance you get. It's the easiest way I know to put a smile in Dad's smoking, and a nice way to remember a great guy.
The district attorney failed to issue a complaint against Harvey Tilden. James Hill Brightstone was tried and convicted of robbery in the second degree, 2 counts. Robbery in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state prison for not less than 1 year. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Rodman, Virginia Gregg, Eddie Firestone. Script by Frank Burt. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
This is it, L&M Filters. It stands out from all the rest. Miracle tip, much more flavor.
L&M's got everything.
It's the best.
Notice the color of L&M's Miracle Tip. It's white, pure white, to give you the purest and best filter. And L&M gives you a rich, good-tasting, fully satisfying smoke, the kind you can get only from highest quality tobaccos. Buy L&M. It's got everything: flavor, taste, mildness, and the best filter. L&M.
A courageous chaplain, honored as Mr. Citizen, thwarts a prison break and converts a juvenile delinquent to a new way of life. Don't miss Mr. Citizen this week. Check your local TV listings for time and station. Hear Dragnet next week, same time, same station.
Hear Biography in Sound on the NBC Radio Network.